Sorry about that. We thought we had that turned off. So let me repeat. We have a considerable severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect right now for Bartow, Carroll, Cobb, Coweta, Douglas, Floyd, Fulton, Gordon, Harrelson, Hurd, Paulding, and Polk. A tornado is possible. And this is going to continue until midnight for these counties in western Georgia. A few minutes ago, a line of severe thunderstorms extended along a line from Epsom Hill to Corinth, moving northeast at 70. So again, these storms are moving down the interstate as fast as the cars are. You won't be able to outrun these storms. Moving northeast at 70 miles an hour. That tells me as a possibility that we could see winds of at least 70 miles per hour in these storms. So again, a large severe thunderstorm warning in effect until midnight for Bartow, Carroll, Cobb, Coweta, Douglas, Floyd, Fulton, Gordon, Harrelson, Hurd, Paulding, and Polk in Georgia for the next 45 minutes. Governor of Georgia has issued a state of an emergency ahead of these storms, so FEMA would be able to respond immediately. You have to issue that state of emergency so the federal government can come in and issue funds and whatnot to help out the state in the event of a weather emergency. Let's go down here to Cedartown, where earlier we were monitoring some possible rotation near Cedartown, and there still may be some where the red and green is coming together just northwest of Cedartown. So we may have to continue to watch that as it heads towards Linsdale and Kingston here over the next several minutes. You're hearing our live alert system going off in the background as well, where we get instant warnings and be able to pass them on to you the very second they're issued by any National Weather Service across the country. But again, we're seeing winds in excess of 60 to 70 miles per hour right now, coming through Cedartown, headed toward Rock Martin, Aragon, Buchanan, and Bremen, moving through Mount Zion right now, headed toward Carrollton. And we have to maybe watch out, pardon me, for the possibility of maybe some rotation down here around Mount Zion, north of Carrollton here. But there's some really strong winds coming through Mount Zion right now. Let's see if we can get a reading on this. And some of these winds are 70 miles an hour coming through Mount Zion. So again, even though this is a severe thunderstorm warning, it is what we call a considerable severe thunderstorm warning. The winds are in excess of 70 miles an hour. So treat this as it's a tornado warning. Again, most of the western metro Atlanta suburbs are up under this severe thunderstorm warning. Treat it as a tornado warning. Go to the center part of your house away from windows or a basement if you have one, and you should be fine. But we're measuring winds in excess of 72 miles an hour right now coming through the Carrollton area, as you hear some rumbles in the background now as these storms are approaching West Atlanta. These storms should be coming into and across the downtown Atlanta area here right around midnight to 12:30, so we'll keep a monitor on that. Maybe a little sooner since they're moving at 70 miles an hour now. But again, very strong line of thunderstorms, a line of severe thunderstorms. It has hail in it as well, right in the center of this line. And they will be moving toward Rockmart in 1 minute, Yorkville in 3 minutes, Taylorsville in 4 minutes, Kingston in 10 minutes. And again, we're monitoring these strong winds down here in Carroll County, and they will be moving toward Douglasville, Kennesaw, Dallas, and Smyrna here over the next several minutes. Again, if you're just joining us, we have a considerable severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect with a tornado possible. It expires in 39 minutes for basically the western Atlanta suburbs. Lowest level of your home, interior room, up under the stairs, in the basement if you have one, and you should be fine. And this is for Bartow, Carroll, Cobb, Coweta, Douglas, Floyd, Fulton, Gordon, Harrelson, Hurd, Paulding, and Polk. Again, a severe thunderstorm warning for winds in excess of 70 miles per hour coming through the western metropolitan Atlanta suburbs right now. And down here in Carroll County, northeastern or northern Carroll County, north of Carrollton, we're measuring winds of 70 miles an hour right now, and this will be headed toward Douglas County and Douglasville here over the next several minutes. So again, even if you don't get a tornado, these 70 mile per hour winds will knock down trees. And again, there may be some rotation developing between Cedartown and west of Taylorsville and your Harley. We will keep watching that, but definitely some strong winds of 60 to 70 miles per hour coming through western Georgia at this time, and will be headed toward the downtown Atlanta area over the next 30 to 60 minutes. Again, the strongest winds that we're measuring right now is right here in northern Carroll County. The winds are 67 miles an hour moving through there right now, and the possibility of maybe some rotation in and around the Bremen area. We will keep you updated on that. There is a tornado possible that could pop up at any time within this severe thunderstorm warning. So that's why we're monitoring this very closely. And again, even if you don't get a tornado, you could get winds, damaging thunderstorm winds of 60 to 70 miles per hour that will likely knock down trees and power lines. So again, if you're up under this severe thunderstorm warning across the entire western Atlanta suburbs right now, you need to be in the basement, a center part of your house, away from windows. And this does include Fulton County, which is Atlanta is based out of, but this is far southwestern Fulton County, not quite for the downtown Atlanta area just yet, but it is coming here within the next 30 to 45 to 60 minutes or so. Again, these are moving to the northeast at 70 miles an hour, this line of storms, and it's a severe line of storms with seeing some hail in the middle of this line as well. So if you have a car, park it in the garage so you won't get hail damage. And again, this line of storms is headed toward Douglasville, Dallas, Ackworth, Cartersville, Kingston, and if you're in those areas that I just mentioned, basement, center part of your house, and you'll be fine. Treat this as a tornado warning because there's considerable thunderstorm winds, severe thunderstorm winds in excess of 60 to 70 miles an hour. There's large hail in these storms. This is a line of severe thunderstorms, and tornadoes are possible to develop along this line at any moment. And as we're seeing that and seeing some rotation developing right now to the west of Yorkville and southwest of Braswell and south of Rockmart, so we'll continue to watch that very closely. And still watching areas of possible rotation just south of Rome near the Lindale area. And again, the strong winds down here in the Villa Rica area, north in northern Carroll County, winds of 67 miles an hour near the Sand Hill area at this time. And these winds are headed toward Villa Rica, Douglasville, and Chapel Hill over the next several minutes. That's right, Jared. We have a severe thunderstorm warning that it does impact Carrollton, but it impacts much more of an area than that. It extends all the way up into the Catskill area as well as Rockmart. And so the severe thunderstorm warning is in effect for Paulding, Carrollton. We're going to switch over to 95.5 WSB radio for a moment to get the very latest on what's going on here in Atlanta. We'll be right back with you. Winds right now located right on top of Bremen, quite frankly. That's where we may be looking at 60 to 70 mile per hour winds. This is going to impact the city of Buckhannon as well as West Bremen, the city of Bremen itself, right on top of the Bremen bypass. I-20 from the Carrollton to Bremen and Villa Rica areas will be impacted by those 60 to 70 mile per hour winds. Speaking of which, these storms are booking it. They are moving fast. They are moving east at 70 miles per hour. So just give it about 20 to 30 minutes, and they will be bearing down on Villa Rica, Douglasville, Dallas, as well as Kennesaw and Ackworth. Something to note is that before these storms arrive, a good 20 miles ahead of the storms, you may notice these wind gusts strong enough to knock down trees and power lines before the strongest of the storms arrive. But once again, we have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect through midnight for Carrollton, Douglasville, Bremen, Dallas. This is going to impact Villa Rica as well as Rockmart up into Kennesaw and Ackworth, Powder Springs, Hiram. Damaging winds, strong winds, strong enough to knock down trees and power lines are the main impacts from these storms. At any given time, we could also have a quick spin-up tornado, so please go to your safe place. I am concerned about trees coming down and numerous power outages. Make sure your cell phone is charged before these storms arrive. Jared?
I appreciate those updates, and I know the audience does as well.
So that was WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards over at 95.5 here in Atlanta and AM 750 WSB, which happens to be their 103rd birthday today of all days. And the entire team is over there, as they are at WSB TV in Atlanta. All the Chiefs are in tonight to monitor this very dangerous and potentially life-threatening weather event. We have no tornado warnings at this time for western Georgia or eastern Alabama, um, but we have that now that 34 people have died after 40 tornadoes hit 8 states over the last 24 hours. Again, 34 now confirmed dead from the tornado outbreak over the last 24 hours, as 40 tornadoes have hit 8 states. And now we're watching the possibility of tornado touchdowns here in Georgia. We're monitoring this very closely. And we're back on the reflectivity mode for a moment so you can see the hail in these storms that are coming through Lindale headed toward Kingston. Seeing some hail in Aragon headed toward Taylorsville. And lots of hail here just to the north east of Bremen, and that is headed toward Old Villa Rica and eventually Hiram and Dallas. Again, we're just mentioning the hail right now is what we're looking for. Strong storms now approaching the Carrollton area with winds in excess of 70 miles an hour. Let's get an update now on the winds in this area. We zoom down here to the Villa Rica area where the strongest winds are, and we're still measuring winds right around 66 miles an hour as this line of storms approaches Villa Rica, with the possibility of some rotation developing near Temple. Again, no warnings, but it has a tornado possible tag on these storms. That's why we're watching this very, very closely. Again, we have a lot of considerable severe thunderstorm warnings that are in effect for western Georgia and eastern Alabama at this time. This means treat these warnings as if they are tornado warnings, basement, center part of your house, away from windows, because these severe thunderstorms, although may not be producing a tornado, they are producing winds in excess of 60 to 70 miles an hour. So, and we're actually seeing that on the radar, 66 miles per hour, had 70 earlier. And we're going to go back now to 95.5 WSB in Atlanta for a quick update on the storms in west central Georgia.
Have been dropped from the severe thunderstorm warning. However, there's still more on the way from the southwest. The counties still in effect with this severe thunderstorm warning through midnight include Paulding, Haralson, Cobb, Douglas, Floyd, Fulton. This is southwestern Fulton, Gordon, and Bartow counties, eastern Polk counties through midnight. Be aware that these damaging wind gusts could be as high as 60 to 70 miles per hour. They're moving very fast. They're moving east at 70 miles per hour. So they are moving down and approaching Taylorsville, Yorkville, Dallas, Villa Rica, I-20, Villa Rica to Douglasville. This is moving in your direction, Steve.
So normally, Christina, when we think of like hurricanes, a faster moving hurricane, less damage, but not necessarily so with this, moving 70 miles an hour. This could be even worse.
Great question. These are already producing damage 20 miles ahead of the rain. So if it's not raining where you are, you may still get some of these trees and power lines coming down 20 miles ahead of the actual raindrops themselves.
Okay, keep it here. Thanks, Christina. We'll see you back here many times during the evening. As you probably know, Governor Kemp has declared a state of emergency for the entire state of Georgia through Tuesday until midnight Wednesday morning or 12:01. We count at least 20 shelters open across the metro. There are probably more. And emergency management centers throughout the metro, they are now open as well. As for what has gone on out west, if we get anything like what these folks have gotten, I hope all of you will take this very seriously.
Oh my God. Damn tornado. Whoa. Is this coming? Oh, it's here. It's here.
That's a couple of guys in Missouri stuck in their car as a tornado goes over top of them. There have again been 40 tornadoes, at least 34 dead so far from these tornadoes out in the center section of the country. Half of those have been from tornadoes. Alabama, Missouri, Arkansas, Mississippi, Louisiana, Illinois, Indiana, Tennessee. Those are the states reporting deaths from tornadoes. Somewhat less than that in terms of the intensity and the danger. There have been a lot of car wrecks because of these 80-mile-an-hour driven windstorms. 18-wheelers have been turned over on interstates out there. Winds whipping flames, causing wildfires. It's bone dry out there. So the last thing they needed was 80-mile-an-hour winds. Large hail, much like Christina forecast for here. And they're talking about over those 8 states, hundreds of homes have been destroyed. It is time for a live traffic update. Let's go to Chip Canales in the WSB 24-hour traffic center.
Yeah, still keeping an eye on Buckhead. He's still got a crash. Georgia 400 northbound before Lennox Road, exit 2. It's blocking out one left lane. Also, you still got construction barrels in Cobb County. I-285 southbound, the outer loop before South Cobb Drive, exit 15. It's blocking out 2 right lanes, and that continues all the way down 285 southbound until you hit about Langford Parkway. That's exit 5. Chip Canales, 95.5 WSB.
And I'm 95.5 WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. What you need to know is that a severe thunderstorm warning is in effect for western metro Atlanta, including Paulding County and including the northern portion of Carroll County near Villa Rica. What I'm noticing on radar, not only do we have straight line winds that are approaching the Yorkville, Dallas, Hiram areas, Villa Rica, 60 to 70 mile per hour winds approaching you, but we may have a quick spin up circulation just to the west of Villa Rica, just north of I-20, but it is moving east at a very fast pace. Everything is moving to the east at 70 miles per hour. Think of how fast you drive on the interstate. That's how fast these storms are moving. They are moving in the direction of Fulton County, North Fulton, as well as Cherokee County, Downtown Atlanta, you've got about an hour to go, but all of this is moving through metro Atlanta over the course of tonight into early tomorrow morning. A tornado watch is in effect through 4 a.m. If you have a severe thunderstorm warning for your area, please treat it like it's a tornado warning because of the damaging wind threat. Steve?
Yeah, great point. And I wanted to talk to you about this tornado threat because that seems, the hail obviously can do damage. It probably won't kill anyone. The tornado situation, normally we think of, I think here, I've not been here that long, but I think we generally get the EF0, EF1 strain, and they stay on the ground not too far, hundreds of yards, maybe a half mile. But what you're talking about here are tornado alley strength tornadoes that stay on the ground for a considerable amount of time.
Right. That is what we're dealing with this evening. When I say quick spin-up tornadoes, I mean that they may quickly spin up within a line, but these will produce some considerable damage. I hesitate to say what EF scale it would be, but you're absolutely right. It's probably going to be north of EF0, north of EF1 is to be determined what we see here, but we are talking about considerable damage, potentially, if any of these tornadoes form this evening into early tomorrow morning.
Okay, Chris.
And that's the very latest from Christina Edwards over at 95.5 WSB in Atlanta. We have this just in to Stormwatch America.
This is a tornado warning.
We have a new tornado warning coming in right now in Alabama for Coosa and Tallapoosa counties. A severe thunderstorm is capable of producing a tornado over western Lake Martin or near Equality, moved to the northeast at 55 miles an hour. And this tornado warning continues for about another hour. Again, a new tornado warning now for Coosa and Tallapoosa counties in eastern Alabama. And this is going to continue for the next hour. A severe thunderstorm that was capable of producing a tornado is over Lake Martin. We're seeing on our debris tracker the possibility that there could be a tornado on the ground here in Villa Rica, Georgia, just north of Villa Rica. Although there's no warning yet, one may be issued shortly. So if I lived just north of Villa Rica, basement, center part of your house, right away, we're seeing the possibility of debris lofted in the atmosphere just north of Villa Rica. And again, usually when we look at our debris tracker, that is the confirmation of a tornado touchdown. We'll wait and see. I'm sure the National Weather Service is watching this very closely as we are. And again, some possible rotation here approaching the Dallas, Georgia area. We'll continue to monitor that. And the rotation we had up here still may be a little bit watching the Kingston area of northwestern Georgia as that heads toward right. We have another tornado warning that is just coming in, as you heard live from our alert system for Crenshaw County in Alabama. A severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was near Brantley or near Laverne, moving to the northeast at 50. Again, new tornado warning the next 22 minutes for Crenshaw County in Alabama. So again, the tornado warnings are cranking again as these storms are moving into and across eastern Alabama and western Georgia. And we'll have to watch this tornado. Here's this possible tornado down here near Jackson's Gap in east central Alabama.
Peachtree City has issued a severe thunderstorm warning for southern Paulding County in northwestern Georgia, northeastern Carroll County in northwestern Georgia, County in north central Georgia, Douglas County in north central Georgia until 12:30 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. At 11:38 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, severe thunderstorms were located along a line extending from near Yorkville to near Lake Valley to March to near Temple, moving northeast at 45 miles an hour. 70 miles per hour wind gusts. Source, radar indicated. Impact expected. Damage is likely to mobile homes, roofs, and outbuildings. Locations impacted include Powder Springs, Lithia Springs, Lost Mountain Park, Brownsville, Fair Oaks, Winston, Lake Val-du-Marche, DuWest, Sandy Plains, Dallas, Smyrna, Mableton, Sweetwater Creek State Park, Whitewater Park, Villa Rica, Douglasville, Jim R. Miller Park, Chapel Hill, Marietta, and Hiram. Remain alert for a possible tornado. Tornadoes can develop quickly from severe thunderstorms. If you spot a tornado, go at once into the basement or small central room in a sturdy structure. Move to an interior room on the lowest floor of a building. If you see one, wait until the storm has passed and then call the National Weather Service toll-free at 1-866-7-634-4664 or tweet us your report at NWS Atlanta. A tornado watch remains in effect until 4 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time for north central and northwestern Georgia.
This is what happens. As we get more and more people moving to Atlanta.
Okay, that was the emergency alert system from the National Weather Service of Peachtree City. NOAA Weather Radio going off there for a considerable severe thunderstorm warning now for Carroll, Cobb, Douglas, and Paulding counties for 70-mile-per-hour winds moving into and across western Georgia. And this is headed toward Mountain Park, Fair Oaks, Winston, Smyrna, Mableton, Sweetwater Creek State Park, Villa Rica, Douglasville, Chapel Hill, Marietta, and Hiram over the next several minutes. You can see this bowling out of this line of thunderstorms and the possibility of tornado touchdowns headed toward Dallas, Powder Springs, and Lithia Springs and Douglasville. If you live in any of these areas just mentioned, basement, center part of your house, evacuate mobile homes. If you're in a car, get out into a ditch. If you have time, get to a block sturdy building immediately. Again, a considerable severe thunderstorm warning for winds up to 70 miles per hour for this is a new one for the next 47 minutes for Carroll, Cobb, Douglas, and Paulding counties. We also have 2 new tornado warnings now for Alabama, for Crenshaw for another 18 minutes, and for Coosa and Tallapoosa counties for about another hour. These are radar indicated rotation, no confirmed tornado warnings right now or tornado emergencies, but again, take all of these warnings very seriously. The tornado warnings and any severe thunderstorm warnings, basement, center part of your house, and you should be fine. But again, we're seeing a bowling out of the straight line wind damage and the possibility of tornado touchdowns right now coming through western Georgia. And we're seeing rotation developing right now just to the south of Dallas. So if I lived in Dallas, Hiram, Powder Springs, and Marietta, be on the alert for the possibility of a developing tornado headed your way. And we have breaking news right now. Let's go immediately to WSB in Atlanta.
For southern Paulding County, northeastern Carroll County, Cobb County, Douglas County. What's different about this severe thunderstorm warning is that this now includes Kennesaw, Marietta, Smyrna, Mableton, and Douglasville. Be aware that damaging wind gusts as high as 60 to 70 miles per hour are bearing down on the cities of Dallas, Douglasville, Mableton, Hiram, Powder Springs, Marietta, Smyrna, and Kennesaw. This is moving in the direction of Roswell, Alpharetta, and Sandy Springs. You are next. The severe thunderstorm warning is in effect through 12:30 a.m. Again, damaging winds are going to be the main impacts. These winds are capable of knocking down trees and power lines in the Douglasville, Mableton, Powder Springs, Marietta, Kennesaw area. I'm also watching a potential area of rotation. It's a weak rotation right now, but at any given time tonight, we could have a quick spin-up tornado. So please treat these severe thunderstorm warnings as if they're tornado warnings. Quite frankly, wind damage is wind damage. You need to go to safety if a warning is issued for your area. Live in the Storm Center, meteorologist Christina Upwards.
Thank you, Christina, for those latest updates over there. Make sure that, and obviously now is the time. We've been talking about these storms for about an hour and 45 minutes. Hell, Christina's been talking about these since Monday this week, that they were coming this way. So this is the time to get ready. And with the warning now impacting Marietta and Kennesaw, it's getting real, Atlanta. But we are going to make sure that you stay informed and that we keep you safe here. Don't go anywhere. More of the Nightcap with Jared Yamamoto, with Christina Edwards and the whole WSB.
And again, that's the very latest from WSB Radio in Atlanta on the very latest on the severe weather. As we continue our coverage, thank you for joining us. I'm David Dutton in the Stormwatch America Command Center here in Atlanta. We're going to be with you for the rest of the night during the overnight hours as we have a tornado watch in effect for northern and west central Georgia until 4 a.m. Eastern Time. Tornadoes, a few that may be strong and intense, and winds of 70 miles per hour, along with large hail, is possible in these areas again through 4 a.m. This does include downtown Atlanta and the western and northern metropolitan Atlanta suburbs. There may be an extension of this watch as the storms enter Atlanta for the eastern metro Atlanta suburbs, including the Athens area, maybe, as we go through the overnight hours. That remains to be seen. But right now, Atlanta under a tornado watch until 4 a.m. So far, no warnings in downtown Atlanta, but that is pending here within the hour. And we're seeing a notch right now, and the possibility of some rotation developing here. Certainly not good signs developing here just to the northwest of Dallas. So if I lived in Dallas, of course you should already be in shelter. If I lived in Ackworth and Kennesaw, be mindful that there's rotation just to your southwest and it may be headed your way. And a lot of
Southeastern Paulding County in northwestern Georgia, southwestern Cherokee County in north central Georgia, northern Cobb County.
Okay, that was the emergency alert system, no weather radio. We now have a tornado warning in Georgia. This is our first tornado warning, and this is for Cherokee, Cobb, and Paulding counties. On this storm, I just showed you a few moments ago, National Weather Service seen it and pushed the red button on this one, as we have a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado over Dallas, moving northeast at 45. Again, if you live in Kennesaw, Ackworth, or just northwest of Marietta, you need to seek shelter in a basement or center part of your house. Repeating, just in, new tornado warning for Cherokee, Cobb, and Paulding counties in Georgia for the next 27 minutes. And we have this just in to Stormwatch America.
This is a tornado warning.
We have a new tornado warning now in Alabama for Pike County. A severe thunderstorm producing a tornado was near Goshen, moving northeast at 55. And again, these storms are moving very quickly, so you have only minutes to respond and take shelter. So when a warning is issued for your area, and if you think someone, act quickly. If you think someone may be asleep right now, wake them up. Even if you're out of state and you know they live in these counties, wake them up and let them know there's a possibility of tornado touchdowns in their area. Again, the latest are Pike County in Alabama and Cherokee, Cobb, and Paulding counties in Georgia, and it's for this circulation right here. There's a strong rotation here over Dallas, Georgia, and it's moving toward the northeast, toward Kennesaw here in the next several minutes. Let's go look at our debris tracker, and in particular, right around the Dallas area, not seeing anything, but maybe a little bit just northeast of Dallas. We'll have to continue to monitor that. When these areas line up and they turn blue, right where the rotation is, and it all comes together. It could be nails, 2x4s, trees, and maybe people's houses in is what you'll be seeing when that blue shows up on this radar. This is not rain, this is not wind. We're looking for something besides that on the radar, and we're looking for debris, something that a tornado may have picked up. So again, this is just to the northeast of Dallas, and it's moving to the northeast very quickly at 45 miles per hour. Again, an active tornado warning in Georgia for Cherokee, Cobb, and Paulding counties. A severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was over Dallas, moving northeast at 45. We actually was showing you that before the warning was issued, and was saying, sorry for the pause there, but we're getting new information in, and we was listening to that for a moment. But if you live in Cross Creek, Acorn Tree, and Beverly Estates, basement center part of your house right now, a possible tornado may be headed your way. If you live just to the northwest of Marietta, if you live in Kennesaw, this storm is headed straight for you. And if you live south of Ackworth, this storm is headed for you as well. So if you live in Ackworth and Kennesaw especially, the storm has moved to the northeast at 55, and it's headed toward areas between Ackworth and Kennesaw here over the next several minutes. Definitely basement, center part of your house. Get more now as we go immediately over to 95.5 WSB in Atlanta.
Dallas right now is moving to the northeast at 45 miles per hour. So giving you a timeline for some of these cities, it's going to be in Lost Mountain in the next 10 minutes. So at about midnight in Lost Mountain. It'll be in Kennesaw at about 12:10 a.m. It'll approach Kennesaw University around 12:10 a.m. and approaching noonday in the next half hour. So we're talking about the midnight hour moving through Kennesaw, Woodstock, noonday. And by the way, Woodstock, it'll be arriving around 12:20 in the morning. The tornado warning is in effect for Paulding County, southwestern Cherokee County, northern Cobb County. This tornado warning is in effect through 12:15 a.m. However, the storm, as you mentioned, Steve, is moving very, very quickly, moving northeast at 45 miles per hour. Let me give you some locations, some areas where the current rotation is located, where the possible tornado is located. It is right on top of the city of Dallas, right on top of Highway 120. So that is going to be the Dallas Highway area. It is moving in the direction of due west. So due west road, Lost Mountain Road, Mars Hill Road. It is moving in that direction. And then within the next 20 to 30 minutes or so, it will eventually cross over Cobb Parkway, 575, and I-75. So this is moving in the direction of downtown Kennesaw, Kennesaw State, and will eventually make its way into the noonday in Ackworth area over the course of the next 20 to 30 minutes. Steve, are you hearing of any storm damage or anything like that?
Not at this point, at least nothing of any substance. I heard of some power lines down in Coweta County, things like that, but that was on the very leading edge of all of this. I'm sure we're about to ramp up quite a bit. Christina, if you would, obviously this kind of forecasting has advanced a lot in the last 50 years. We have hook echoes now where it's just assumed that this is probably going to be a tornado. We don't have to have something on the ground or something visible. And of course, it is nighttime. Should people be looking out the window, or should we go into the basement?
Great question. Go to the basement immediately, both because this is nighttime and this is going to be a rain-wrapped tornado, meaning that the rain is going to obscure the funnel cloud. You're not going to be able to see it. The funnel cloud will be right on top of you before you even notice what's happening. But you'll also notice the winds pick up, damaging wind gusts outside of the circulation, damaging wind gusts as high as 60 to 70 miles per hour possible. But right now, the center of circulation, it looks like the circulation is starting to weaken just a little bit. But the tornado warning is in effect for the city of Dallas, just north of Hiram. This circulation is going to move in the direction of Kennesaw. So giving you some mile markers, well, maybe not a mile marker, but the roads that are going to be impacted. And so some of your neighborhoods nearby, This is going to be Dallas Highway. That's Highway 120. This is going to be the Burt Hickory Road. This is Mars Hill Road. And this is moving in the direction of Kennesaw. That includes Kennesaw State University in this tornado warning. City of Kennesaw itself, Ackworth, you are in this tornado warning. And it is moving in the direction of the city of Woodstock. So if any of those cities, if any of those highways sound familiar, you need to be in your safe place right now. This tornado will make its way over towards I-75 and 575 in the next 20 to 25 minutes. Steve?
Okay, and Christina, as you are catching a bearing on this, I think you said due east. So this is going to sort of clip the top of the more populated part of the metro. Do you see this being an issue as you get into the more populated areas where homes and businesses are closer together, where people might be out driving, not really sort of being oblivious to what's going on around them?
Great question, but with all due respect, Kennesaw is a big city here in Metro Atlanta. 575 575 as well as I-75. Those are heavily trafficked locations here. This is Cobb Parkway, where Cobb Parkway meets Barrett Parkway. So this is going to impact a larger community here, larger suburb area in the next 20 to 25 minutes.
Okay, Christine, is there a deadline for this tornado warning, or is it sort of open-ended? Usually we get a sort of a window on the time.
This tornado warning is in effect through 12:15 a.m. However, I am nervous. I'm concerned. Concerned is the better word to use here. I am concerned that at any given time, the circulation can spin back up as it moves through Kennesaw, Woodstock, and on its way into northern Cherokee County and northern Fulton County. So if you're not in the tornado warning, but you are in Holly Springs, if you are in Roswell, Alpharetta, or in Cumming, you need to pay attention to what's happening for your neighbors in Kennesaw and Woodstock, because this is moving from the southwest to the northeast, and this will eventually impact the rest of Cherokee County as well as northern Fulton County and Forsyth County. Steve?
Okay, so the window for this seems it's not exceptionally long. It's what, 25, 30 minutes. But does that take into account the idea that historically with this system, as it tore through Alabama and Mississippi, that these tended to be more powerful tornadoes that stayed on the ground for a longer period of time? Is this an example of what we have dreaded?
Yes, you're absolutely right. So individual tornado warnings will last about 30 minutes. However, additional tornado warnings, if necessary, would get issued further downstream. So this is the first one here for the core of Metro Atlanta. However, if the circulation continues,
We have some breaking news to tell you about right now.
This is a tornado warning.
We have a confirmed tornado warning now in Alabama. A confirmed tornado was located over Jackson's Gap or near Dadeville, moving northeast at 55. This is a damaging tornado. Again, a tornado is on the ground, headed toward Hillaby Creek, Dare Park, Northern Lake, Martin, Eagles Creek, Davidson, Horseshoe Bend National Military Park, Jackson's Gap, Alexander City, and Dadeville. Repeating, a tornado is on the ground, moved to a basement or interior room on the lowest floor of a sturdy building. Evacuate mobile homes and vehicles and get to the closest substantial shelter to protect yourself from flying debris. Again, a tornado has touched down in Alabama, and this is going to continue for the next several minutes for northern Tallapoosa County. This is a confirmed tornado warning, tornado on the ground in Tallapoosa, Alabama. So let's take a look at this a little closer. You can see it here in their new site, headed toward Davidston, and eventually Wadley, then Roanoke, Wedowee, then Central Hatchie, then possibly Noonan and Whitesburg. So we'll have to watch that closely over the next hour. And we have a new severe thunderstorm warning that has just been issued for Georgia. And this is in effect for Bartow, Carroll, Douglas, Floyd, Harrelson, Paulding, and Polk. And this is going to be in effect for the next 30 minutes. Severe thunderstorms, a line of them were extended along a line from Epsom Hill to Abernathy to Macaville, moving to the northeast at 50 miles an hour. Again, a severe thunderstorm warning for Bartow County, Carroll County, Douglas County, Floyd County, Harrelson County, Paulding County, and Polk counties in Georgia for the next 30 minutes. And this is for winds of 60 miles an hour and large hail. Again, expires in 30 minutes. Again, let's go back down to this confirmed tornado warning in eastern Alabama. If this was to hold together, it would be moving into central Hatchie and Roopville and Whitesburg within the hour. So we'll keep an eye on this. Again, these have the potential to be long track tornadoes, not something that just comes and goes. In this atmosphere, we have another new severe thunderstorm warning that is being issued right now. As for Bartow County, Cherokee County, Cobb County, and Pickens County for the next 30 minutes. A line of severe thunderstorms was from Pine Lawn to Crossroads, moving east at 40. Again, a new severe thunderstorm warning for Bartow, Cherokee, Cobb, and Pickens counties in Georgia for the next 30 minutes. And a tornado is possible in this. So we're seeing the possibility of some rotation now just to the northwest of Ackworth. So we'll have to continue to monitor that. And again, we're continuing with this tornado warning in Georgia for Cherokee, Cobb, and Paulding counties for the next 13 minutes. Now see the possibility of a broad area of rotation approaching Kennesaw. So if I live in Kennesaw, basement, center part of your house, away from windows. This is moving into and across Kennesaw, headed toward Adston Heights. The 75-575 interchange on the north side of town, Woodstock Noonday, Bells Ferry Place, Stir Up Manor, Cherokee Estates, Timberlake North, Brookwood Estates, Indian Valley Estates, Willow Creek, Falcon Hills, and the Kennesaw State University. Again, tornado warning continues for Cherokee, Cobb, and Paulding counties for about another 12 minutes. Let's go back to 95.5 WSB in Atlanta for continuing severe weather coverage.
A twisting wind and a straight line wind, quite frankly, is just the way that it moves. But it can knock down trees. It can knock down power lines. A damaging wind gust is a damaging wind gust. So we still have damaging winds that are moving through Emerson, Ackworth, Kennesaw. And speaking of Ackworth, I am monitoring a potential area of rotation. That is to the northwest of Ackworth. That is right on top of I-75, Cobb Parkway. That's going to be Highway 41 as it extends out of Cobb County. So potential new rotation may be developing in northwest Ackworth. So crossing over from Cobb County into Cherokee County, just the southern tip of Bartow County. Big roads are impacted here. We have Cobb Parkway as well as I-75. This is going to be the city of Ackworth, northwest of Ackworth, now moving into the Sequoia Estates, Alatoona Beach area, potentially moving into McCollum Acres, Etowah Mills, and Westwood Station. So that would be the Alabama Road, Highway 92, where it intersects with I-75. That may be where we have new rotation developing. But so far, A severe thunderstorm warning is in effect for those areas. I'll let you know if we have a new tornado warning issued for that. That is going to be determined by the National Weather Service. New information coming in, Steve, from the Paulding County Emergency Management Agency. Caller reporting that they saw a tornado on the ground at Amber Way off of Villa Rica Highway in Dallas. So that is something that we will be efforting to find out more information about that. But that is new information that just came in to me. So I'm going to go ahead and toss it back to you. I want to say that we are going to stand down just a little bit now that the tornado warning has been allowed to come to an end. However, we are still here in case a new one is issued. Also be aware that severe thunderstorm warnings are in effect through 12:30, if not a little bit later. So Steve will continue to monitor the severe thunderstorm.
The National Weather City has issued a flash flood warning for northwestern Cobb County in north central Georgia, northwestern Douglas County in central Georgia, southern Barlow County in northwestern Georgia, central Carroll County in northwestern Georgia, south
cameras, and he's got all of this information coming in real time about what might be happening out there. Chip, you heard Christina talking about these highways, and now they're getting to be major highways like I-75. Are you seeing anything, backups, anything on a camera, any report being sent in by Georgia State Patrol, and anything like that?
You know, she just mentioned right now about Ackworth and Alatoona Shores. I'm checking the jam cams right now, and you're seeing a lot of swaying. And not only traffic signals, but those tall pine trees are swaying right now very hard. You can see on the west side of the metro area, seeing a lot of those traffic signals going out. She was just talking about the Dallas area, and there was an intersection. Let's see if I can find it here. There was an intersection 120 and Lost Mountain Road, just lost a traffic signal. All around the Dallas area, the traffic signal or the cameras just went offline. So,
wow.
Yeah, they're coming back on.
This is a tornado warning.
Back live here in the Storm Center, David up Stormwatch America Command Center in Atlanta. It's just after midnight Eastern Time. We have a new tornado warning that has just been issued for Chambers and Randolph County in east central Alabama, and this is going to continue until 1 a.m. Eastern Time. Again, a new tornado warning for Randolph and Chambers counties for about another hour. This is in east central Alabama. If this continues, this would move into Franklin, Central Hatchie, and Ephesus here within the hour in west central Georgia. So we'll have to keep that monitored. We're also monitoring some possible rotation up here near the Ackworth area. Again, a lot of severe thunderstorm warnings are in effect, especially north and west of downtown Atlanta. And again, treat all warnings like a tornado warning, basement, center part of your house, and you'll be fine. Give it about 30 minutes and the storm will be past, because these storms are moving to the northeast anywhere from 45 to 70 miles per hour.
While we had 60 to 70 mile per hour winds in the Dallas area, Dallas and Villa Rica Highway area in Dallas, there was not a tornado on the ground at that area. However, that really does underscore that you don't need a tornado to create these damaging winds that are knocking down trees and power lines. If you're under a severe thunderstorm warning at this time, please take it seriously. Please treat it like it's a tornado warning, because quite frankly, the impacts are going to be very similar. On that note, I do want to point out that there is still a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for Bartow, Cherokee, Cobb, and Pickens counties through 12:30 this morning, so another 20 minutes or so. We have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for Carroll, Douglas, Floyd, Harrelson, Paulding, and Polk. That is also through 12:30, so for the next 20 minutes. So quite frankly, all of us need to be ready for damaging winds and trees to come down, power lines, and power outages. And make sure your cell phone is charged before these storms move through.
Okay, Christina. Yeah, great advice on not making a distinction between straight line winds and cyclical winds, because as fast as this thing is going, on top of the wind speeds, you may as well just toss a coin on which one you would rather have. Thanks very much, Christina. WSB radio meteorologist Christina Edwards and Chip with a report on what things are looking like out in that northwest area where we've had the most to talk about tonight. That tornado warning, gone. But again, Christina expects maybe many more, as they've had so many out west of us. Keep it here on 95.5 WSB for live real-time storm coverage. Be sure to download the WSB radio app in case your power goes out. Speaking of that, if you have power right now, charge those devices. You never know what might happen. I'm Steve Summers in the newsroom. Let's head back to Jared Yamamoto now.
Appreciate that, Steve. Excellent work over there, making sure.
And we.
This is a tornado warning.
New tornado warning coming in now for Alabama, for Barber and Bullock counties. A severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was over the Troy University, or near Troy, moving to the northeast at 50. Again, a new tornado warning for Barber and Bullock counties in Alabama for about another hour. Tornado possibly over the Troy University, moving northeast at 50 miles an hour. Again, basement, center part of your house, and you should be fine. We're watching this, what was a confirmed tornado on the ground earlier here in eastern central Alabama. Now it's headed toward Waverly, Alabama and Roanoke, Alabama, and be moving toward, if it holds together, Central Hatchie and Franklin, and possibly even Whitesburg here within the hour. So that's going to be something we'll have to monitor very closely. And we're seeing little notches, little rotations all along these lines of thunderstorms, but that one really sticks out down there in east central Alabama. So we're going to watch that one closely as it comes into the southwestern Atlanta suburbs within the hour. It's 12:11 Eastern Time. Again, I'm David Denton from the Command Center here in Atlanta. This is Channel 1 America, Stormwatch America, continuing coverage of severe weather for Atlanta, America, and the world. Thank you for joining us. $ Twister 52 if you have a buck or more and donate today. Our channel has always been free, and you don't have to pay anything to watch us because we're giving out life-saving information. But it does cost us to bring this information to you, unfortunately, and so that would certainly help out if you give at least $1 or more. And thank you if you've already done so. Again, we're continuing with this new tornado warning now for Barber and Bullock counties in east central Alabama until about another hour. Chambers and Randolph counties in Alabama, tornado warning continues for about another hour. And a tornado warning for about another 30 minutes for Pike County in Alabama. So still a lot of damaging thunderstorms still back in Alabama to roll through here over the next hour or two. But we already have the storms moving into and across northwestern Georgia now, from Calhoun to Canton, back down to Bremen. And again, everything's racing off to the northeast at 55 miles an hour. We're continuing to monitor this developing weather situation, and again, we're going to be here with you all night long. So please stay with us if you can, and if a tornado warning is issued for an area of someone that you know, friends or family, and we tell you about it, please be a voice. They may be asleep, and let them know that a bad storm with a possible tornado may be headed in their direction. For an example, Barber and Bullock counties in Alabama, Chambers and Randolph counties in Alabama, and Pike County in Alabama. These are tornado warnings in east central Alabama, have yet to move into western and southwestern Georgia. So again, our coverage will continue all night. We're going to take a quick break. Any bulletins immediately? Let's go over to WSB in Atlanta for the very latest.
No matter what suburb you're in here in Atlanta, we want to make sure to keep you safe. This is a special edition of the Nightcap with Jared Yamamoto. I see that Kobe has gone home, but Vinny is with me, which is great to have you here, man. We're going to make sure to keep everybody informed, do our best to keep you entertained. This is a very serious event. Again, that tornado warning thankfully has expired, but we are about to get the latest from Christina Edwards here. So, Christina, I know that with the warnings expired, this does not mean that we're out of the woods yet. Am I wrong?
You are correct that we're not out of the woods. So we still have a severe thunderstorm warning that's in effect for northern Cobb County. That moved out of Tow and Cobb, so that has now expired. Thunderstorm warning for Canton, Woodstock, County, right on top of 575 and the Highway 20 area from South Canton down to Holly Springs and Woodstock. Those are damaging winds that are associated with that thunderstorm that is bearing down on 575 from Canton into Holly Springs and Woodstock. Those wind gusts could potentially be as high as 60 to 70 miles per hour. In addition, we have a new severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect for Buchanan, Tallapoosa, Bremen, and that extends over into Dallas. So Dallas, I know you're thinking, didn't we just do this? There's another line coming through. This is a broad line, a broken broad line. And because these storms are not a solid line, but they're broken within them, you can have that quick spin up rotation that can cause widespread damage. Speaking of widespread damage, even without a tornado or one of these severe thunderstorm warnings, we are noticing that the winds are strong enough to already knock down trees and power lines without a thunderstorm nearby. So that's why we encourage you to keep your cell phone charged. There's a lot of power outages that are now starting to develop across the western half of the metro. Jared?
I appreciate all those updates there, Christina. I mean, this is the real deal. You've called this all this week. You know, it said it was going to come, and it was going to come at night. And hopefully everybody here in Atlanta is prepared, or if you're just tuning in now, make sure that you are prepared. Go on and get that phone ready. Go on and make sure that you've got that place that you typically go to just in case you've got it ready to go. Maybe you put a blanket down there. This is the time to prepare. Be weather aware. It's a special edition of the Nightcap with Jared Yamamoto as we get you through these crazy storms that are coming through Metro Atlanta.
Imagine finding your dream home and moving in right away. No waiting to sell your old place first. Sounds perfect, right? That's exactly what Orchard's Move First, Sell Later program lets you do. Buy your new home now and sell the old one later. Hey, it's Eric Von Hessler, and here's how it works. Orchard gives you cash so you can buy and move into your new home first on your timeline. No waiting, no showings, no double moves. Then the Orchard experts take it from there. They handle repairs on your old home and make price-boosting upgrades. Once they're done, a local Orchard agent lists and sells your home for top dollar. Orchard's Move First program gives you the freedom to buy and move into your new home first and sell your old home later. Buy before you sell and get top dollar for your home with Orchard. Ready to find out how much your home is worth? Visit orchard.com to get your free home valuation. That's orchard.com.
What you walk on in your home should be wonderful.
Hi, I'm Michael, proud founder of Authentic Hardwood Flooring. You want new floors, but you're putting it off because you don't want the mess. We'll make it painless and keep it clean. We'll move your furniture, wrap your cabinets, and cover everything. We'll even use special filters to remove the dust. Our promise is to make your flooring process painless. Our focus is to make it perfect.
Authentic Hardwood Flooring offers high-quality craftsmanship with an exceptional customer experience. AuthenticHardwoodFlooring.com.
Our weather can be crazy. Dry for days and drenched with storms. Extreme heat to bitter cold, and your roof takes all the abuse. Dave Baker for Findlay Roofing, the roof guys. If your roof has problems, it may be showing you signs. Inside, look for wet spots on the ceiling or walls. Outside, check for streaks and stains or granules in the ground. If you find these, think of Findlay first. The perfect match for any roofing issues, and they offer 0% financing. Schedule your free roof analysis at FindlayRoofing.com. Roof.
Dad, one more horsey ride, please.
This living room rodeo moment made possible by Emory Orthopedics and Spine Center. When Dad needed back surgery, he came to Emory. The difference? Emory's among the highest in patient satisfaction and best surgical outcome rates in the nation. And Emory uses the most advanced research developed by our top surgeons to get Dad's back surgery done right the first time. Giddy up. EmoryHealthcare.org/orthodifference.
When it comes to defending your rights, experience counts. George Stein, the DUI lawyer, has a winning track record over 3 decades with hundreds of contested jury trials and complicated cases. Make the smart choice. GeorgeStein.com.
Congress is poised to pass a bill to keep AM radio in cars, but time is running out. 82 million Americans risk losing the news, sports, talk, traffic, and vital emergency information they rely on. Text AM to 52886 and tell Congress to pass this bill now.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to stop.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Looking to get organized in style? The brand new Artisan Custom Closet showroom is now open near Trillet Studios in Fayetteville. Come experience the Artisan difference. Meet with a designer for your free consultation and start your custom project today. See more at artisancustomclosets.com.
This special edition of the Nightcap with Jared Yamamoto continues here on 95.5 WSB. We are watching these storms that are impacting Metro Atlanta very carefully now. Again, had that tornado warning just a little while ago. Thank goodness it expired. But there is a line of storms that is moving across Alabama and now into Georgia again. So that we are not out of this yet. And this is the time to plan. Make sure that if you are just tuning in, that you are ready to go. I'm a bit of a weather nerd myself and have a little bit of weather anxiety. So I know many of you have been tuning in from the very beginning, and you've heard me repeat that over and over again. But this is the real deal, friends. This is the real deal. We want to make sure that you are safe and that you are in the right place. I know that I was telling friends earlier tonight, I'm like, hey, make sure that you're in place by 10 o'clock because that's when I started tonight. And thankfully, many of them took the advice. I know that some family members are already planning on moving their kids and their children to lower locations just in case these tornadoes end up popping off overnight. Thankfully, again, there are no warnings as of right now, but these storms are the real deal. And as somebody that is a weather nerd, I've been paying attention to this stuff for a long time. I have not seen that much red on the radar in a while, and that is why we are live. We are doing our coverage here on WSB Radio. I will try my best to keep you informed and entertained. Of course, Steve Summers is doing most of the hard lifting over there, along with Christina Edwards and Chip Canales. I'm just the goofy talk show host that's going to try to make sure to keep you safe and make sure that you have a plan in place, because I know, like, even as I was going out for my St. Patrick's Day festivities earlier today, I was talking with my lovely wife who is listening now, and I'm like, hey, like, if I don't make it home in time from the station, this is the place where you need to go during these storms. And she's like, okay, very good. So we made sure to put a blanket. We've got like a downstairs bathroom that doesn't have a window, and you need to go to the tub if for goodness sake something like this happens, a tornado warning were to impact West Atlanta where I live now. So we have our plan in place, and I highly suggest that if you don't have a plan in place, start working on that now, because these storms are getting closer, and it looks like we are expecting, unfortunately, more warnings in the next little bit here. So as we watch this and let Christina Edwards catch her breath a little bit, I want to talk about another reason why I think the bosses here at WSB wanted to put me on is because, and I mentioned this a little bit in the 10 o'clock hour, I think I became obsessed with weather at an early age just because my mom left the Weather Channel on all the time in my house, like all the time. Like it would be a summer day with nothing going on. You know it's going to be 90 degrees, right? And she would have the Weather Channel on. I was convinced that she liked the jazz music that played on it or something like that. I don't know what her deal was, but whether she intended for it or not, it certainly got me interested, especially when there were severe weather events like this, winter storms, hurricanes. It certainly got me interested in this. And then when getting the chance to work here at WSB and knowing that we have a full operation here, whether it's on the news side, the traffic side, or Christina Edwards on the weather side being a full-time meteorologist, it's a really cool thing to start to learn more and more of the science about it. Now, again, I'm not here to tell you that I know exactly what I'm talking about. I could just look at this radar here and say, the bad stuff is coming this way. I don't like what's going on. But thankfully, Christina knows what she's talking about, and she is helping to make sure that you stay safe, that you stay informed. And the way I look at it is I feel like it's my obligation to stay here and make sure that I stay live with you guys as well, too, because you just don't know how these storms are going to end up going, especially as this line crosses over. Now it looks like it's getting further and further down I-20. It's actually passing Carrollton now. But let's go on and get an update from Christina Edwards now, because I'm watching this line now that looks like it's passing Carrollton, and it's very red. I'm assuming it is not good, right, Christina?
That's correct. And the good thing for Carrollton is that at this time, that is not where the strongest winds are located. It's actually north of Carrollton. It's in Bremen.
Okay.
So once again, right on top of I-20 from Bremen to Villa Rica, that's where the stronger wind gusts are located. And we also have strong winds that are right on top of Rockmart. They're moving in the direction of Dallas and Paulding County and eventually into Cartersville, Emerson, and Kennesaw. So right now, these are severe thunderstorm warnings. They're in effect for the next 5 minutes. I am in conversation with the National Weather Service to see if there's going to be any additional new severe thunderstorm warnings issued after 12:30, but it's still something to monitor with regards to these damaging winds that are moving through right now through the Paulding and northern Carroll County areas. Jared.
I appreciate that update there, and yeah, this is I'm glad that you're in contact with the National Weather Service, getting an update on this. I mean, again, I think that I'm looking at it from how most Atlantans are looking at this thing. I see a lot of red on the radar. Red's not a good thing, and we are not out of this yet. So I want you to make sure that you stay informed. Make sure that phone is plugged in, charged up, ready to go. Make sure you've got that WSB radio app. If perhaps you just got to your safe place now and you're listening to us on radio, make sure that you've got that WSB radio app. You can also listen to us on WSBradio.com. We are going to make sure that we get you through these crazy storms that are coming through Georgia now. It's more of this special edition of the Nightcap with Jared Yamamoto in just a few minutes.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. One question I'm always asked is, how did you become the largest injury firm in the world with over 1,000 attorneys and $25 billion in verdicts and settlements? One way was our financial strength. Medical malpractice is the third leading cause of death in America. To prosecute a typical case costs up to $250,000 in case costs. We advance them all. Product liability cases can have similar costs with an army of lawyers on the other side.
It's 12:30. I'm David Utton in the Channel 1 Atlanta Command Center here on Stormwatch America. Here's the latest tornado warnings. Barber, Bullock counties in Alabama for about another hour. Chambers and Randolph counties in Alabama for the next 32 minutes. Pike County in Alabama for the next 17 minutes. We have 11 severe weather warnings in effect this time for eastern Alabama and western Georgia. These tornado warnings that we were monitoring to the southwest of us in Alabama near the Roanoke area have been allowed to expire, but they may recycle and become tornado warnings again, so we will monitor that. Elsewhere, we have a line of severe thunderstorms from Kingston to your Harley, to Rockmart, to Yorkville, down to just to the north of Villa Rica, and these are all moving to the northeast, east-northeast, at about 45 miles per hour. We also have another line of severe thunderstorms from Canton to Holly Springs to Woodstock, again moving to the northeast at 45 miles an hour. Continuing our live coverage all night long as this dangerous weather situation continues to move into and across northern and western Georgia. And again, the very latest 34 people are dead, dozens injured in a tornado outbreak across the southeast over the last 24 hours. A tornado watch is in effect for northern and western Georgia until 4 a.m., including metro Atlanta. Governor Brian Kemp of Georgia has issued a state of emergency out ahead of the storms today. Let's get the very latest now as we switch over briefly to WSB 95.5 in Atlanta.
At 12:30, I'm Steve Summers. You are listening to live continuous coverage of severe weather across metro Atlanta. Let's immediately go live to 95.5 WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards with the current situation.
Thank you, Steve. So just a little bit of some good news is that the severe thunderstorm warnings have come to an end. The tornado warning that we had about an hour ago has come to an end. However, the threat is not over. We do have these storms now moving into areas that have not experienced any of these thunderstorms just yet. So a tornado watch remains in effect for metro Atlanta through 4 o'clock in the morning. I'll continue to monitor these storms. Be aware that damaging winds are still going to be the main impacts for our area. Steve?
Okay, Christina, I just want to make sure we keep folks, as you are doing, I just want to sort of say it maybe one more time. We don't have any tornado warnings. Do we have any watches that we would be concerned about in metro Atlanta?
Great question. So the tornado watch is still in effect through 4 a.m. That means conditions are still favorable for these tornadoes to occur, and they're going to spin up quickly. So that's why we still want you to be prepared and ready to go to your safe place. A watch means conditions are favorable. No warnings are in effect at this time, but of course we'll break in case that changes.
And no severe thunderstorm warnings at this time, right?
That's correct. Okay. That's correct. The National Weather Service has allowed those to expire. If anything changes, of course, we'll break in with those as well.
And as you've been telling us, as you look at the radar, which is lit up like a Christmas tree, especially along this line of thunderstorms that continues from the southwest to the northeast, basically, I see a lot of red just out to the west of Atlanta. Now, like a curtain, do you see this moving slightly east and going east? Obviously not as fast as it's going in the direction it's going up to the north, but will we be draped by this heavy activity at some point?
Yes. So inside the perimeter, downtown Atlanta, these heavier storms, these stronger storms will be moving inside the perimeter in the next hour or so. All of metro Atlanta, which is about 100 miles wide, is still going to be impacted by this through at least 4 a.m.
Okay, Christina, we'll get back with you. I guess the less we hear from you, the better, but you're going to be with us every step of the way here. That's Christina Edwards, our meteorologist here at 95.5 WSB. I want to mention it's not really a catastrophic situation as far as wind goes yet, but of course this thing is just arriving. I just looked at a list of all of the power companies and cooperatives in the state of Georgia. 70,000 people out of power at this particular moment, and that's all of them. That's Georgia Power will have the most because they serve the most people, but about 70,000 right now. It's not terrible, but I assume, Christina, you expect that to burgeon quite a bit.
Yes, because it's been the western half of metro Atlanta. The bulk of these storms still haven't made their way into the eastern side, and so it still remains to be seen when and where some of this wind damage will occur.
Okay, very good. We are still very early in the inning on this, even though we've had a scare or two. But Christina, this is going to get more complicated, isn't it? Because we had that tornado warning, but it was a tornado warning. This could still be a situation where we're dealing with a lot of overlap on these severe thunderstorm and tornado warnings. It'll be hard to keep straight for the layperson who's just trying to figure out, if their house is going to be going up.
Yes,
this is a tornado warning.
And we now have a confirmed tornado warning in effect right now for Barber and Bullitt counties in southeastern Alabama for the next 42 minutes. A confirmed tornado was located near Pickett, or 13 miles southwest of Midway, moving to the northeast at 50 miles an hour. To repeat, a tornado is on the ground. Take shelter immediately. Move to a basement or interior room on the lowest floor of a sturdy building. Again, a confirmed tornado was located near Pickett, moving northeast at 50 miles per hour. Confirmed tornado warning now for Barber and Bullitt counties in southeastern Alabama.
The storms that travel from, say, Auburn, Alabama, they'll make their way into LaGrange and eventually into Peachtree City and then eventually into downtown Atlanta.
Okay, and they'll do it at a very rapid pace. I assume that there's still that 70-mile-an-hour tracking speed going on. All right, Christina, we'll get back with you as soon as necessary. I want to go now to the WSB 24-hour traffic center where Chip Canales is standing by. Chip, you've actually had a fairly decent look at least the aftermath of some of what has gone through. You're able to see it on the cameras. You talk about the swaying lights, the swaying trees that you can actually see, people going very slowly with their hazards on. Anything dramatic that you're seeing? Are you seeing things kind of slow down a little bit in those places? What are you seeing?
I would say it's slowed down a little bit. I've never opened up so many random cameras to look around and see these things, but I don't see any swaying lights right now. I still see some cars on the 75 corridor, especially by the Woodlands and Indian Village, Alatoona Shores, around that area, that still have their emergency lights on, but no crazy winds right now, but maybe some puddles that you need to be careful.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. All right, Chip, thanks for that. We'll see you back here regularly and, of course, when necessary. Keep it here. We seem to be in sort of a lull right now as far as Metro Atlanta is concerned. But that, as I look out beyond the radar, on the radar out west or southwest of us, as Christina says, this thing is just sort of taking a break in the action maybe, and we're going to still have a lot of drama to talk about. Hopefully not, but a lot of danger to talk about. So keep it here on 95.5 WSB for real-time storm coverage, and download the WSB radio app in case your power goes out. 70,000 out already. That's going to go up by some considerable amount, particularly as this thing moves at 70 miles an hour. Trees fall, lines come down, that sort of thing. I'm Steve Summers, 95.5 WSB.
Appreciate those updates over there, Steve. It's a special edition of the Nightcap with Jared Yamamoto, watching all of the storm coverage along with Christina Edwards, Chip Canales over in the traffic center, Vinny Bag of Donuts hanging out with us now. Kobe got the chance to escape before the storms hit Midtown, but yay, we're in it together now, man, till the very end here. So it's going to be. Hopefully, I'm hoping for it to be uneventful. I know that some people out there like the idea of severe thunderstorms and tornadoes and stuff. I'm not a crazy person like that. I hope that it remains the way it is now, where we have no warnings and we get no tornadoes or anything like that. But again, there are a lot of red lines right now and a lot of problematic cells that are approaching us from the west right now, again, heading west to east. And it looks like a lot of North Atlanta is getting hit very, very hard, too, right now. West and North Atlanta are getting hit very hard. Again, I'm hoping that the warnings end up going in the same direction that they are now, where we don't have any. But if needed, Christina Edwards can break in at any time on top of me just to let me know that just to let us know that these warnings, or where the warnings pop up and what we need to do to make sure we're prepared. Because I'm actually looking at some of the power outage maps too right now. And it looks like there are already people that are reporting power outages. I've got a couple of different radars along with our Storm Tracker 2 radar as well too. So I'm watching this stuff too. I may not be a certified meteorologist, but I am a weather nerd, and I am I am keeping an eye on all this too. So I will try to pivot away a little bit from the storm here. We will get back to it, I promise you. If there are any warnings, we will break in here on WSB. Christina, you just jump right in on top of me. If there are any new warnings to bring up, I had brought up a couple of Atlanta stories earlier in the show too. Just kind of because today's, I know it's Monday technically is St. Patrick's Day, but basically everybody celebrated it today. The big parade was downtown, and Atlanta has done a very good job with St. Patrick's Day. I always thought that, you know, when you think about St. Patrick's Day cities, you don't think of Atlanta as a top place for St. Patrick's Day. But I have to say, like, after doing the parade a couple times now, it's really cool what they've done. They've really kind of just leaned in on making sure that it's
Okay, that was the very latest from WSB. We're going to take a quick break since there's a low in the action right now. But don't worry, we're not going anywhere. We're going to stay with you as we promised until the storm is past. Still a lot left to come through the metro Atlanta area. A lot going on. There's some very strong thunderstorms that are out there right now. And we will continue to bring this to you throughout the next several hours. In the meantime, we're going to keep what we have up and continue here with continuing coverage of severe weather here on Stormwatch America. Please stay with us. Test 1 2. Good morning. This is David Dutton in the command center here in Atlanta. It's just after 1 o'clock. Continuing severe weather coverage. We're continuing with a new tornado warning now for Chambers County in Alabama for the next 28 minutes. And a tornado warning continues for Barber and Bullitt counties for the next 12 minutes. That in Alabama as well. We're continuing to monitor this. Let's get the very latest now from WSB 95.5 Atlanta.
Survey assessment, and that will likely occur sometime tomorrow. However, the more damage reports we receive from those who are impacted by the storm, the more that we're able to pinpoint where it likely began and where it likely ended. So if you experienced any of this damage near Hiram, near Highway 92 and Pickett's Mill Road, please go ahead and call in either to 95.5 WSB, or you can use our open mic feature, which is on our WSB News app, the 95.5 WSB News Radio app. So let us know if you're experiencing any storm damage. Right now, that tornado damage was likely in Paulding County, but that is still preliminary. We're still getting the information on that. But as far as how long was it on the ground and what is its distances, that's not going to be determined until the National Weather Service does its damage survey assessment tomorrow.
But of course, Christina, we were hearing about how these were going to be tornadoes that were going to be longer in duration on the ground, and they were going to be more powerful. I assume that National Weather Service will be able to tell by the spin, of plants or grass that goes in a circular motion whether it was a tornado, and they may be able to tell the speed, right?
That's right, but that assessment occurs well after the storms are over. They go out on a blue sky day, and in other words, a calm weather day, and they do take a look at how were the buildings damaged, how were the trees damaged, was it a straight line pattern, was it a swirl pattern? So they are the ones who do investigate the damage that is done by the potential tornado, if not a straight line wind event.
Okay, Christina, stand by here. I want to go back over what we have so far. Georgia State Patrol, they're on the scene of a tree down on a car with entrapment, Georgia 61 at Wendale Road. This is Paulding County. Power lines apparently also on this vehicle. So job one is going to be to turn those power lines off before they can get to these folks who are inside this car. There's also apparently damage to a home, Mount Tabor Church Road at Pickett's Mill Road, and some other evidence that something that involved high winds occurred a couple of other places in Paulding County. I want to bring you up to speed on this. Obviously these high straight line speeds or the movement of the storm, 70 miles an hour, incredibly fast. Is going to cause power outages because, obviously trees fall on power lines and power lines fall on their own. We reported last hour that 80,000 were without power. And of course, all of that was in the northwest part of Georgia. That was 15 minutes ago. It's now down to 60,000. And this is all the power companies and cooperatives and everyone that they keep track of where this information comes from. We see this, and we saw this during the hurricane situation, is that, it went up and up, and it went way up, and it peaked out at this astronomical number, but it began to come down almost immediately. With a few 2-3 days, it was back down to a very manageable level. These power companies have remarkable technology now to reroute electricity around a downed line. They have obviously these guys and gals who go out themselves and really risk their lives, frankly, to get these things back up. And so it's interesting because obviously it used to be when a storm passed through, the repair process didn't happen until it was all gone. Well, now they're repairing a lot of this while the storm is still going on. So it's really sort of an amazing thing. By the way, 1/4 of the 60,000 still out are in fact in Paulding County. I want to now go back to Chip Canales. WSB 24-hour traffic center. Chip, in the interim, have you seen anything else in that area that we were talking about?
Just there in Douglas County, still got that crash, I-20 westbound near Thornton Road. It blocks all lanes still. You can still take Thornton Road to US 78 as an alternate route. And just now in Paulding County, we got a report, tree limbs down SR 61 in both directions at Mulberry Rock Road as well, Steve.
Okay, thanks, Chip. We'll no doubt be talking to you very soon. Let's go back to Christina, WSB 95.5 meteorologist Christina Edwards. Christina, anything change? Anything looking like it might be? I know we're in sort of a lull right now. I hate to call it that because I don't want people to let their guard down, but we're sort of in a period here where we can kind of get our breath. Anything to the south and southwest that you're looking at going, oh, here we go?
Great question. So right now, all eyes are on a circulation that is just to the southwest of LaGrange. LaGrange is located in Troup County, so it is southwest of Coweta, and so we may have a severe thunderstorm warning issued for Troup County for the LaGrange area. Potentially, that may be issued in the short term. However, it's mainly going to transition to a south side situation. The south and east side is an area where the rain and the thunderstorms are now making their way into our region. However, the best ingredients for severe weather is now south of I-20, so that's the area that I will be monitoring, Steve.
Okay, we'll keep a track on that. Thank you very much, Christina and Chip, for your great job. Keep it here on 95.5 WSB for live real-time storm coverage. We'll be at the top and bottom of the hour, of course, but we will be there any time during the hour that we have a tornado warning in particular, obviously, to tell you about. Also, download the WSB radio app in case your power goes out. Charge up those devices so you're good. Christina, I believe, is still going with until 6 o'clock in the morning that this stuff finally gets out of here. I'm Steve Summers, 95.5 WSB. Let's go back to Jared Yamamoto.
Amen there, Steve. Everything you just said right there. Make sure that you've got that WSB radio app. Make sure you've got your phone charged. We are here, and I'm glad that we're not calling it a lull as well either, because it looks like from what I'm seeing in West Georgia, it seems like it's intensifying just past Carrollton, heading towards Douglasville. We are not out of this yet, which is why we are live and local here on 95.5 WSB. We are taking your open mics. We are taking your phone calls at 404-872-0750, 1-800-WSB Talk. I have neglected the open mics, Vinny. I've been bad. Vinny's behind the glass right now taking care of me. Carlin is taking your calls. He's going to make sure that he puts all of the good calls through. If you're inebriated from St. Patrick's Day, as long as you've got something good to say, I'll take you on the air. But it better be coherent. That's the important thing, Carlin. So just make sure that they're coherent if people are calling in from St. Patrick's Day festivities. The most important thing is that you are in your safe place as of right now, as we are expecting these storms to continue to intensify. But this open micer had this to say from earlier.
Hey, Jared. Riding out the storm here with you. Just wanted to say appreciate you being on the air. It's good to hear your voice. We'll keep you posted from Kennesaw, Georgia. Time is 12:25. Temperature is roughly 72 degrees.
We appreciate that. No matter what you're seeing out there, it's important for us to have our eyes and our ears out there. You guys can help us out here at WSB by giving us that detailed information, especially with the storm coming through at night. And that's the hard thing, is that it's just hard to know whether or not, and God forbid this does happen again, if an actual tornado did touch down in the last hour, or if a tornado does touch down and later on in the morning here. It's hard to tell at night, so your feedback will certainly help us at 404-872-0750, 1-800-WSB Talk. Again, that WSB radio app, as that great open micer just did there. Also on my socials, people are being very sweet at Jared Yamamoto, saying thank you to Christina Edwards, Steve Summers, and the whole WSB gang, along with myself, for being here. This is what we do. I mean, there's a reason why this station has been around for 103 years. Welcome South, brother. That's what WSB means, and nobody else can compete with what we do. And it's a legacy, and we're happy to be here to serve Metro Atlanta and North Georgia. Now, I've been carefully sprinkling in other things going on because you can't just talk about the weather the full time, especially when there's no warning. So I've been bringing up some local Atlanta stories that have been bothering me. I started at 10 o'clock tonight, so as some of the warnings were just beginning here in Metro Atlanta, which again, we are under a tornado watch until 4 a.m. So tornado watch until 4 a.m., meaning that there are favorable conditions for a tornado to develop. Looks like there could have been one in Hiram, as Steve Summers was talking about and Christina Edwards was talking about in the last newscast. But again, we will get the final confirmation in the next couple of hours on whether or not there was one that touched ground, and there could be more later on this evening. So I brought up a couple of local stories, and I know that this one has really, really been bothering me because I hope that I made my point in the previous hours about this. I'm a big proponent for the city of Atlanta, and I love the Beltline. And ever since I moved from suburban life and college life to the city of Atlanta, I've been concerned with where my tax money ends up going. Because I always thought that with the Atlanta Beltline, the cool thing with that is, you know what, it's not only is it just a walking path, but there is a possibility for really, to have light rail next to the path. I've always thought that was a really good idea. In order for Atlanta to keep growing and keep prospering, you've got to have infrastructure for people to be able to get around. Otherwise, you're just going to be stuck in your neighborhood. I know that even with friends that live in Decatur, I'm on the west side. Like from Decatur to the west side can feel like it's a 5-6 mile drive, I believe, but it can take you 30, 45 minutes just to do it because there isn't enough infrastructure to be able to do that. And I'm just really big on that. And I talk a lot about that on my nightcap, which you typically hear me from 11 to midnight every Saturday night. And on my nightcap, that's what I typically bring up. I'm always like talking about what's important for Georgia, what's important for Atlanta, and infrastructure is huge for that. And in order for this city to keep growing, and for many of you that have just moved here recently, you're starting to find out how crazy the traffic can be and how bad the infrastructure can be at times. I think for the most part, there are worse cities that have worse transportation issues than Atlanta, but Atlanta could certainly help itself by expanding light rail on the Beltline. And that was what was promised to us back in 2016, and that's why I'm so bothered by it. Back in 2016, they're like, oh yeah, this penny sales tax, or half a penny sales tax they put on Atlanta residents, like, oh yeah, this is going to go towards light rail on the Beltline. It's going to help out tremendously. It's going to make sure that you get the extra infrastructure that you were asking for in the city. But Mayor Andre Dickens, who I like a lot, by the way, I think he has been a very good mayor for Atlanta, much better than Keisha Lance Bottoms was. But Mayor Andre Dickens has done a really good job in his first term. For him to just say, oh, now I'm not for the Beltline East Side Trail light rail over there, it's problematic to me. It's problematic, and I just feel like I've been played a little bit by it because I've been paying this tax since I've lived in Atlanta this whole time, and I really bought into it. I'm like, hey, like next to the Beltline, they'll be able to do this, and I feel like there are other things that are not being told by the city of Atlanta about the possibility of light rail next to the Beltline. That's my only concern about that. But in the meantime, I know many of you guys are tuning in for the latest update on the weather here. I think Christina Edwards is ready for me right now. Christina?
Yep, I am here. All
right, good. I know you've been working overtime. We started at 10 o'clock tonight, and I'm watching these lines too. It seems like West Georgia, again, there's two strong lines that have crossed over from Alabama into West Georgia. Am I wrong?
You are correct about that. So watching from Bremen into, now again, the Dallas area, that's an area that I'm monitoring. I'm also watching LaGrange. A new severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for the LaGrange and Greenfield area. Now, this is going to be Troup and Meriwether counties, so south of Noonan. However, I'm watching for any trend that brings them from the southwest to the northeast. A lot of these storms have been trending from the southwest to the northeast as they move through. So right now, really want to underscore no warnings in effect at this time, but we still have that tornado watch in effect through 4 o'clock. So another, going to round it up to 3 hours here. At any given time, we could have damaging winds as well as a quick spin up tornado. That's something that I'm monitoring for the rest of this early morning time frame.
Yeah, you just don't know. Again, looking at this radar now, I know that as somebody that loves weather and understands how radars work, I think I'm coming at it from the common man approach here. This radar is still very illuminated. There's a lot of red, a lot of oranges, a lot of yellows. I'm glad, Christina, that you're here to help us get through this. And again, as I promised at the top of the show when we started at 10 o'clock, I'm like, I really hope that we end up not feeling the brunt of this storm. But again, we are not out of this yet, which is why our live continuous coverage continues here on 95.5 WSB. It's a special edition of the Nightcap with yours truly, Jared Yamamoto, Christina Edwards, Steve Summers, and the whole WSB gang. We'll make sure to keep you safe. We are watching these storms very carefully. Christina Edwards has done a great job. She's been predicting this all week, and it is getting messy, quote, messy from her as I'm looking at the radar right now. I'm Jared Yamamoto, and you usually hear me on the Von Hessler Doctrine daily from 3 to 7 p.m. And also I have my Nightcap, which airs every Saturday from 11 to midnight as well. We actually started up at 10 o'clock tonight, and we want to make sure that you are safe out there. So there are no active warnings as of right now, but looking over at West Georgia, which West Georgia, I know I've brought it up a lot, but that's probably been the messiest, along with North Georgia as well. So North and West Georgia have been the messiest so far tonight. But it looks like there is a possibility of something popping off there very soon. Of course, Christina, you just break in right on top of me if you need to, so that way we get the latest update on that. And I will continue keeping you informed on this. One of the reasons why I believe the bosses here at WSB put me in this space like, Jared, you like weather, you're a weather nerd. And I'm like, yeah, I am. But when it comes to the science of things, thank goodness we have Christina with us live. And of course, Steve Summers is doing a great job keeping us updated on the news side of things. Chip Canales on traffic, Vinny behind the board. Carlin's taking your calls. We are taking your open mics as well on the WSB radio app. In fact, I'll give that number out. 404-872-0750, 1-800 WSB Talk. What are you seeing out there? Are you, especially in the Hiram area? The Hiram area looks like there was a possibility of a tornado touching down earlier this evening. And we want to hear what you're seeing. 404-872-0750, 1-800 WSB Talk. I've also been sprinkling in some local stories throughout the evening as well, too. Of course, if anything breaks on this weather, I'm right here. I'm looking at this radar constantly. I know Steve's in the news booth. You guys just break in over me at any point here. But there are other local stories going on that I feel are important to bring up. And one of the things that I'm really surprised with, I know there've been a lot of sports stories. I brought up the Carson Beck, Haley Cavender story. Carson Beck left Georgia to go down to Miami, took $4 million in NIL money, and he went down there. And also his girlfriend just happens to be down there too. But he got in trouble because he was caught Snapchatting other girls while at Miami. And I'm like, what an idiot. Like, you went down there to be with your girlfriend. You got $4 million. Already the team's going to be distrusting of you. You're a new quarterback. I think most Georgia fans are done with Carson Beck. And for me, I'm like, hey, good riddance. I've always had a soft spot for the Dogs, even though I am a proud West Georgia Wolf. Always had a soft spot for the Dogs. And I think that most people would be happy to see Carson Beck gone. But another story that's quietly been developing in the Atlanta sports world is the rise of the Hawks. I know they didn't win against the Clippers last night, but the Hawks are quietly becoming a playoff team, and they might be able to make some noise in the postseason. Now, I have to fully admit that I was watching while doing my St. Patrick's Day festivities earlier, watching the Atlanta St. Patrick's Day parade and enjoying Fido Irish Pub earlier today. I was watching, part of the SEC basketball tournament, and for some reason during this time of year, and I get it. It makes sense. Like you want to break away. There's something just magical about March Madness, and the way that the SEC tournament is lining up. I mean, like there could be 11 SEC teams that end up making March Madness, and I just think it's absolutely wild. The North Carolina Duke game was wild as well too. There are a lot of, and I think what I'm trying to say is with the Hawks, you kind of lose the NBA a little bit during this time because March Madness is so exciting. And then once March Madness is done, you get the national champion, then you jump back over to the NBA for a little bit. So what I'm here to say is that for those that gave up on the Hawks earlier this year, don't give up on them. Don't give up on them yet. They're actually playing a lot better than you expect. And maybe it's because they are under the radar a little bit. Maybe it's because, they traded DeAndre Hunter and everybody thought, oh, okay, they're just trying to sell off. They're not trying to win anymore. But mark my words, after March Madness, if the Hawks are in the same position they're in now, they might be able to do some damage. Now, speaking of damage, again, looking at these storms, again, no active warnings at the moment. We are in a tornado watch until 4 a.m. Christina Edwards, I know that you are there actively looking. You said, quote, it's looking messy over on the west side right now. What's the latest over there?
Yes, it's looking messy because we have these broken storms within this broad line that is now moving through. And there are times at which we have an individual storm that it looks like it may be causing some trouble, but for the most part, these severe thunderstorm winds are staying just below warning limits. And so far, anything that is trying to spin up is then unraveling very quickly. So it's one of those things where I have to be on my toes, and that's why I am here monitoring these storms. Just be aware that the tornado watch means that conditions are still favorable for these tornadoes to form. That's why I am here. That tornado watch is in effect through 4 a.m. So we have another 2.5 hours to go here for the metro region. Speaking of which, we have heavy rain and thunder and lightning that continues to move through. So if you're woken up by the thunder and the lightning, of course, we'll keep an eye on where the strongest winds would be located here in the metro region. Jared?
Hey, much appreciated, Christina, with that. Yeah, I mean, again, we're not out of this yet. I'm looking at this radar, and there is a lot of red, a lot of orange, and I'm seeing a lot of yellow in there too. So thankfully, again, it looks like we might be able to get through this without as many of the warnings and the watches that a lot of the warnings that we were expecting. But again, we are not out of this yet. This is why we are live here on WSB Radio. It's a special edition of the Nightcap with Jared Yamamoto. We are going to stay with you until every warning is done. Christina Edwards got a nice nap in earlier. I got a nice nap in after my St. Patrick's Day festivities. We are ready to go. The coffee is flowing. We're taking your calls at 404-872-0750, 1-800-WSB-TALK. We want to see what want to hear what you're seeing out there. Also taking your open mics in the WSB radio app as well. More of the Nightcap in just a few minutes.
I'm Chris Chandler. When you join us Monday, starting at 5 a.m. for Atlanta's Morning News, after a stormy weekend, our exclusive 5-day forecast for the work week ahead. Tariffs and the markets and our wallets will preview the week in Trump's first 100 days. Our live Monday chat with CBS's Scott McFarland in Washington. Triple Team traffic reports every 6 minutes. And which new cars Clark Howard says you can buy for a lot less money than you might think. I'm Chris Chandler. Join us on 95.5 WSB.
It's the perfect party, and all my friends love my yard.
Thanks for having us. Your yard is fantastic.
The garden pond is beautiful and such a tranquil and relaxing area.
Oh, this pergola over the path really defines the walkway.
Wow, I can't get over this outdoor fireplace. It really anchors the yard.
The perfect party. The perfect party. The perfect party. Oh, it was just a dream.
Dreaming of that perfect yard? Gibbs Landscape turns your outdoor dreams into reality. Gibbs Landscape is Atlanta's premier landscape design and maintenance company, awarded for excellence over 250 times. Let Gibbs Landscape expand your living and entertainment space with a customized design to enhance the functionality and beauty of your home. Schedule your complimentary landscape design consultation at GibbsLandscape.com. Creativity, quality, experience. Gibbs Landscape Company.
I'm thrilled with my Infinity from Marvin Fiberglass Windows. Hi, it's meteorologist Glenn Burns inviting you to North Georgia Replacement Windows' brand new Alpharetta showroom. I was blown away. Bring your window and door project to life here. See the fiberglass difference in person. Your stress-free experience includes a quick, accurate proposal, no pressure. Window and door shopping made simple.
Infinity from Marvin Replacement Windows, yeah!
Have you downloaded your mobile driver's license yet? If no, why not? The Georgia Digital Driver's License and ID is available in your Apple, Google, and Samsung wallet. It's free, secure, and easy to use. Download it today to skip the line when you visit a DDS center. To learn more about Georgia's digital license and ID, visit dds.georgia.gov. That's dds.georgia.gov. Message from the Georgia Department of Driver Services.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios. News,
weather,
traffic, 95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It's 1:30. I'm Steve Summers. You are listening to live continuous coverage of severe weather across metro Atlanta. Let's go immediately live to WSB 95.5 meteorologist Christina Edwards with the current situation. Christina, you are talking more and more about something that could be happening to our south and west.
That's right. So we have stronger storms that are moving through LaGrange on their way into the Meriwether area. So that would be Troup County into Meriwether at this time. I'm also monitoring the Bremen, Temple, and Villa Rica region. That is where we have a thunderstorm that is just north of I-20, moving through Bremen on its way to Villa Rica. We could have some damaging winds that are moving in that direction, again, north of the I-20 area along Highway 78. So that's what I'm monitoring for the rest of this, the next 5 to 10 minutes here. For the rest of Metro Atlanta, that tornado watch remains in effect through 4 a.m. Because at any given time we could have a quick spin up with these thunderstorms that are rolling through. Live in the Storm Center, meteorologist Christina Edwards.
Okay, Christina, thank you very much. I want to just sort of update you on what we've got so far. Christina telling us what's happening now and what may happen in the future. But what we know so far about damage, 60,000 without power. That's across the state, but of course all of this is really in the northwestern part of the state. In 90 minutes, it went from 80,000 without power to 60,000. So it lost, so 25% of these folks are back on due to probably some of the amazing technology that these power companies have now. However, 1/4 of those who are without power are in Paulding County, where a possible tornado touched down tonight. State Patrol reporting that a tree and power lines are down on a car with people inside. That report came maybe about 30 minutes ago. Hopefully they've got those folks extricated. That's at Georgia 61 and Wendale Road. There's also damage to a home nearby that, Mount Tabor Church Road at Pickett's Mill Road. Meantime, Paulding Emergency Management just got off the phone with them a couple of minutes ago that they have had about a dozen calls due to the storm tonight. A lot of it involved trees down on homes and on cars. And you should probably know this. A good way to transition into the traffic center is Highway 61 near Paulding County High School is totally blocked at this time. It's time now for a traffic update. Let's go to Chip in the WSB 24-hour traffic center. Chip, what can you tell us about any circumstances you're seeing by camera or by report?
Well, in Douglas County, we still got that red alert going on, that crash I-20 westbound near Thornton Road. It blocks all lanes right now. You can still avoid that by taking Thornton Road to U.S. Highway 78 as an alternate route. You were just talking about, Steve, in Paulding County, those tree limbs are blocking SR 61 in both directions at Mulberry Rock Road, and also still on SR eastbound at Old Villarica Road. It's blocking all lanes there as well. I'm still checking the cameras around this area. That crash, that red alert crash, you got those storms still coming into the area right now. I'm checking the jam cams right now, and those traffic lights are still swaying again.
Okay, Chip, thanks very much. We are probably going to be coming to you a lot more as the part of the storm that's really red on the radar begins to make its way here. Want to go back to meteorologist Christina Edwards. Christina, how the area you're looking at, how close is that? And based on this incredible speed that this thing is moving, how long before we really begin to feel that or see something from that in the metro?
So all of the metro Atlanta area dealing with these storms that are now rolling through. I will say that the ingredients for the damaging winds and the tornadoes have now shifted a little bit further south. So the best ingredients for severe storms likely not going to be Bartow and Cherokee County now. It's still going to be the Paulding, Cobb, Carroll, Douglas, and South Fulton areas, as well as Noonan is in Coweta County and Fayette County. So those are the areas I need to monitor over the course of the next 2 hours or so.
Okay, Christina, that people hear things about where it may go, but as you just told us, that path, that trajectory can change in a very short amount of time. Bottom line is, no one should not be paying attention to this for the rest of the night.
Right. The tornado watch remains in effect through 4 a.m., so we will remain here monitoring everything through 4 a.m., Steve.
Okay, Christina, great job. Keep it here on 95.5 WSB for live real-time storm coverage, and also be sure to get the WSB radio app in case your power goes out and you won't be left in the dark. Literally, you will be left in the dark, but not in terms of information that you're getting. I'm Steve Summers, 95.5 WSB. Let's head back to Jared.
And thank you, Steve, for all that information there. You definitely want to have that WSB radio app. You definitely want to make sure that it's charged up, and you definitely want to be weather aware. Again, looking at the radar that Steve was just talking about there, still a lot of red cells coming this direction here. We are not out of it yet, which is why Christina Edwards is going to be live with you until at least 4 a.m. when the tornado watch is expected to end. I'm going to try to hang as long as I can here and keep you guys informed and somewhat entertained. Of course, the storm is the top priority. Christina, if there is a new update, you just tell Vinny. I will jump right in, or you jump right in on top of me and make sure the people get the information that they need. I'll just do. I'll bring up some other local things that have been going on around Atlanta, aside from the storm coverage, because as of right now, there are no active warnings, which is great news. I'm very happy that there are no active warnings, but looking at the radar, there's a lot of red, a lot of orange, and a lot of yellow. And I'm not a meteorologist, but I can tell you that that is not a good thing. And we will get an update from Christina in just about 9 minutes here. Another local story that I wanted to bring up here is this idea that Georgia lawmakers are moving to restrict hemp products and ban THC-infused drinks. And I just have to say, why? Why? Like, for a lot of these breweries, for example, you know me from my nightcap, or, of course, on the Von Hessler Doctrine, which you can listen on this great station every day from 3 to 7. I'm Jared Yamamoto. We got Eric Von Hessler, Tim Andrews, Autumn Fisher, and the whole gang on the Von Hessler Doctrine. And, of course, I have my nightcap on every Saturday from 11 to midnight. And I've brought this up a lot about the struggling brewery scene in the state of Georgia, especially in Atlanta. And a lot of these breweries have come up with these THC-infused drinks. And it's because a lot of people don't necessarily want to be drinking alcohol. They want to have the THC feeling, but enjoy the experience of going to a brewery. And my thing is, I'm fine with that. I don't think that the Georgia General Assembly needs to jump in there and tell me what it is that I can consume. And that this is just, as I'm getting older, I guess I'm just getting more and more libertarian over time. I just want so much more I just want less government involved in my life. Let me make that decision. I know that you can pull up horror stories about people that have had Delta 8 go wrong, or that have had these THC infused beers and it's gone bad, right? But for the most part, though, I think people have been just fine. I know a couple of notable breweries that I personally have had these THC infused drinks. Not particularly my thing, but I like it. I actually think that I think that it provides a good alternative. And these breweries are struggling. A lot of these restaurants are struggling, and it just provides another way to bring in income to these struggling industries. I mean, I live in West Midtown, and West Midtown has been going through a major revamp. I brought up my theories on Von Hessler Doctrine and on my nightcap as to why that side of town is struggling. I think it's primarily based on parking. Spoiler alert there, but I think that's one of the main reasons. But if you start restricting businesses from selling things that you know is going to make them money, then there's concern for that. And much like what I was talking about with legalized gambling, like here in Georgia, like the fact that the Georgia legislature came out and said, well, you know, like we're going to punt on it this year. I don't like the idea of people that we elected thinking that they know what's best for Jared or what's best for you. That's the problem that I have. And I think that it needs to come down to letting people decide for themselves what's good for them. There are going to be issues. I get it. There's going to be issues. There are people with the gambling example. You're going to have gambling addiction. Yes, you will have that, but it's going to be a very small percentage. With the THC infused drinks and Delta 8 products, you are going to have issues with that, of course. But I think you just have to apply the same regulatory stance as you do with alcohol. I just think that's the logical way to go about it. But these people in the Gold Dome, they just think that they know what's best for us, and it just concerns me a little bit. We're taking your calls, whether or not it's something that I brought up on the show or any of your weather-related questions. Again, we are watching these storms very carefully at 404-872-0750. 1-800-WSB-TALK. I'm Jared Yamamoto. I'm loving, by the way, what people are saying on my socials. I'm on X, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. You guys are incredibly sweet, what you guys have been DMing and commenting on all my different socials here. It is an honor to be here making sure that you're safe. And that's the least that I can do on my end. Again, I'm just the silly talk show host on this side that's getting the chance to make sure that you are in the right place at the right time and that you are prepared for these storms as they come this way. And even if we don't get any more warnings tonight, which, again, I'm not saying that's going to happen, but if we don't, you would much rather be prepared and ready for the circumstance than not be ready for it. It's much better to be prepared than having to scramble at the last second and get ready, which is why Christina Edwards is here, which is why Steve Summers is here, which is why the entire WSB team is here to make sure that you are safe. And it's an honor to do this. And people have just been very, very sweet. And the open mics are coming in. I know the calls are starting to come in as well, too. So we'll no matter what you're seeing out there, maybe you're looks like, again, West Georgia and North Georgia have been hit the hardest so far by these storms tonight. Let me know what you're seeing out there at 404-872-0750, 1-800-WSB Talk. I know a lot of people have been sending me their screenshots of listening on the app. And I'm like, it's awesome. I'm glad that you're listening on the app, and I hope that you are in a safe spot as of right now. Now, I wanted to go back to another local story that I had brought up earlier today. If I could find my tab here. Going back really to this THC-infused drink story, because with this here, I just really think that people, we need to be able to make decisions for ourselves. And the Georgia legislature has got to understand that the trend of how my generation is coming up, millennials, how Gen Z is coming up, people like to be able to make the decision for themselves as to what they consume or what they do with their bodies, how they live their life. And I think that maybe there's just an age difference with the politicians that are currently in there. And over time, as more and more people move to Atlanta, move to the state of Georgia, those trends are going to change. They're going to change dramatically. And perhaps for me, it just becomes a waiting game to see when the politics of the state of Georgia change. I'm not saying that I want it to suddenly become a blue state or anything like that by any stretch, because believe me, I believe in a much more smaller government and making sure that, that our bills are paid and everything. But overall, though, like when it comes to telling people what to do with their bodies, I'm just like, or what they do with their lives, I'm just like, it's cringy to me that the Georgia General Assembly would do something like that. I'm also getting some comments too. I know people I guess college spring break is going on, and I'm hearing that it's a lot more tame than previous years, and that's sad to me. That's sad to me, Vinny, because I loved college spring break. I loved high school spring break, and I think that it's an important developmental moment for a young woman or a young man to go on your college or high school spring break. And I keep seeing all these news stories about how it's really tamed down a lot. And that's just concerning to me. I'm like, why? You've got to allow people to have kind of a wild side, right? You got to have that moment where you can just unleash yourself, and then you learn kind of what your limitations are. And it's sad to hear that people are not having the wild, crazy spring breaks that I had while growing up. And I wonder if it's because if it's just expensive, or if it's because we're just a much more sheltered society than we were before. And I'm just curious what your thoughts are on that. Again, I am keeping an eye on these weather conditions right now. These lines are moving closer to Atlanta. They look like they're just west now of 285, one of the main red lines, and then there's another huge line just east of Rome just east of Rome as well too. That could be impacting us soon. Thankfully, Christina Edwards, I know you're over there in the Weather Center. You are the meteorologist. You are the expert. Tell me what you're seeing over there.
Yes, Jared. So as you mentioned, we are now starting to see these individual storms coalesce into a more defined line. One of them is extending from Bartow County to Paulding County, so Cartersville down into Dallas, dealing with this first line. And there are some pockets of some stronger wind gusts within them, but they are below severe thunderstorm limits, which is 58 miles per hour or greater. Now I'm starting to watch the south side, and that includes Douglasville into Chattahoochee Hills, South Fulton, Noonan. The wind is starting to pick up in the Noonan region, and so that's where I think we could see some of these stronger wind gusts. At any given time, we could see a quick spin-up circulation, and so that's why I'm here literally watching the radar like a hawk. But a little bit of good news for you, Jared. No severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for the immediate Atlanta area. Those severe thunderstorm warnings are in effect for Meriwether County, which is south of Coweta and east of Troup County, east of LaGrange. We still have that tornado watch in effect through 4 o'clock this morning. Also monitoring the damage reports coming out of Paulding County just north of Hiram. I'm seeing pictures come in of trees down on a home. And this is going to be the, I'm getting my bearings here, but this is going to be close to Highway 92. So there is storm damage that we are researching out of the Paulding County area near Hiram. But for right now, we are just monitoring the storms as they roll through.
Yes, and you are doing an excellent job doing that there, Christina. We appreciate all of your help here. In fact, while you were just giving that latest update here, Rich just DM'd me on my Instagram at Jared Yamamoto. He said, thank you guys for helping me stay up. I can't go to sleep until this is over, and you guys are keeping me awake and informed. So, Rich, that's what we're here to do for anybody that's out there listening. I mean, again, it's a real event. I'm looking at this radar, a lot of reds, a lot of oranges, a lot of yellows. You heard what Christina's talking about there. Again, we are not out of it yet, which is why we are going to remain live until we are through all of this. More of this special edition of the Nightcap with Jared Yamamoto with Steve Summers on news. So you got Christina Edwards handling weather, Vinny and Carlin over there, Chip Canales. They got the whole WSB gang making sure to keep you safe.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Is your concrete sinking? Whether it's your driveway, sidewalk, or patio, those uneven surfaces are not just ugly, they're dangerous. That's where AquaGuard comes in, a groundworks company. They use state-of-the-art concrete lifting solutions to prevent tripping hazards. Schedule your free inspection at aquaguard.net/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job. It's a good one.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
The wreck was bad, but dealing with insurance can be even worse. Hey, it's Smiling Mark McKay for John Foy & Associates, the strong arm. When it comes to traffic accidents, I've seen it all, and nothing surprises me. But when it comes to how insurance companies treat accident victims, I'm shocked. If you've been injured, don't try to take on the insurance companies alone. You need an experienced winning team. You need the strong arm to fight for you. Pay nothing up front and get your free case evaluation at johnfoy.com.
WSB Atlanta, WSB FM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
I was live streaming makeup tips when my internet went down. My followers were furious. Like, both of them.
Someone damaged the gas line and our service was turned off for safety. Now my chili is ruined and I'm simmering.
As she was digging into my chocolate delight, someone dug through a water main. No water, no bath, no delight.
All because my neighbor didn't contact 811.
Be a good neighbor and contact 811 before digging.
Playing a game with your family? Fun! Playing a game with your roof? You'll lose every time. Dave Baker here with the perfect match for your roof, Finley Roofing. The roof guys. They're the extra effort experts with upfront pricing, exceptional service, and they'll treat your home like it's their own. Win, win, win. And with Finley, manners matter. Finley also has 0% financing available. Get your free roof analysis at finleyroofing.com.
Roof. See this garage door? I gotta be honest with you. It's ugly. I mean, successful, attractive homeowner like you, it's time to move on. This is not the garage door your parents thought you'd spend the rest of your life with. And that ain't true with everything in life. Don't get me wrong. I mean, honey, if you're listening, you can't divorce me just because I'm no longer the handsome stud you married. But your garage door? The neighbors all think you can totally do better. At Mo Better Garage, we make that way mo better. Let us show you how many sexy new alternatives there are. Just waiting for someone like you. You swipe right on a beautiful new design, we install everything in a lovely ceremony, and you and your new garage door live happily ever after. For better, not worse. How do I know? Because I'm Mo. Call Mo Better Garage and we'll come make it right. Maybe I should pick up some flowers on the way home. Mo Better Garage, we make it way more better. MoBetterGarage.com.
Our special coverage of these storms here in Georgia continues. This is the Nightcap with yours truly, Jared Yamamoto. But of course, I'm not doing this by myself. I've got Vinny, Carlin, they're helping out behind the glass. I've got Steve Summers over there handling the news side of things. Christina Edwards doing a great job. And Chip Canales doing a great job with traffic as well. We are watching these lines carefully. It looks like they are getting closer and closer to Atlanta, leaving West Georgia and getting closer and closer to Atlanta. So if there are any updates, Christina, you just break in right on top of me. Even if I'm in the middle of a sentence, you just go right ahead and give us those latest warnings there. A couple of things that I didn't get to tonight. Again, I had fully prepared a normal nightcap, and when I'm usually on from 11 to midnight. And a couple of things that I didn't get a chance to even bring up tonight is I did this massive deep dive on Greenland this week because I'm just fascinated with it. Like, I know that with Trump, you know, like some people have been dismissive of the Greenland conversation, right? About the idea of the United States adding Greenland as a territory. And when it first happened during the first term, I think it came out in like 2019 or something like that when he first brought it up, everyone was like, what in the heck is this guy talking about? And now with it coming up again in the second Trump term, I'm like, okay, I've got to do my own research because there's a lot of sources out there that like to put their own spin. They're like, oh, this is ridiculous. This is stupid. And I'm like, okay, let me do my own research. So one of the things I had planned to do tonight before I knew about all this severe weather coming through, which, again, happy to do it, happy to keep you informed with everything going on. But this is something that I didn't get a chance to cover tonight, and I'll just briefly bring up some of my findings here. Basically, the reason why Greenland is become such a target for the United States is because, not like a target to attack, but like a subject of interest, I guess is a better way of describing it, is because of the minerals and resources that the island provides. It's the biggest island in the world, and also the shipping lanes that are around there. And also, the people of Greenland have been taken advantage of by the Danes who run the Danish, the Denmark. It's a territory of Denmark, and there is a rough history that a lot of people I don't think have read about between Greenland and the Danes that I had no idea about. They did some horrific things to them, and it's a very small population. It's 56,000 people, basically the size of Marietta. It's like, imagine that gigantic island has the same population as Marietta. And when you read about it, you're like, wow, I did not know that these people went through so much from the Danes, that the United States tried to purchase Greenland after World War II. I had no idea about any of these things until I did my deep dive earlier this week. And now you kind of understand where the story comes from. There's a lot of stories with Trump in particular, which, if you know me, I'm not the biggest fan of his politics. I think he's doing some things right, and there are a lot of things that I disagree with that he's doing. But the one thing that I'm not going to get caught doing is I'm not going to respond to him the same way that everybody responded the first time. Like, oh, this is ridiculous. Where is this coming from? Oh, my goodness. Like, why is it going like this? I never expected it to be like this. With Greenland, if you actually do a deep dive in the history, you can kind of understand why there might be mutual interest from those that live in Greenland and the United States. And now I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. Like, it's kind of a scarred past between the Danes and Greenland. And you would never know that if you didn't do a deep dive into it. So now I'm like, oh, okay. So like with other stories that are often presented to us, especially regarding the Trump presidency, you know, Biden had it too, but with the Trump presidency, there are stories that are presented to you where it's like, you know, like, this is crazy. Why would somebody ever come up with this? But if you just do your own research, it's amazing what you might find out there. And I really want to do a deep dive on this, and I'm just giving you the cliff notes. Again, we are watching these storms very carefully here, and Christina Edwards is with me, Steve Summers is with me, and I had full intention of giving you all the notes on that. So I promise you, next week on my nightcap, that's my promise from 11 midnight, is I'll give you more and more of the deets as to why Greenland feels the way that they feel about possibly joining the United States or just having their own independence. So I had this whole section about that, and I wanted to bring that up. And also, I wanted to talk about the economy too. Like, the economy is fascinating right now. There's suddenly inflation is now inflation going down is now a bad thing. I have so many thoughts about that. But of course, we are monitoring the weather situation. Christina Edwards, this is going to be my last time talking to you here. So, Christina, are you seeing anything different from what I'm seeing? I still see a lot of red on the radar, but what are you seeing now?
Yeah, a lot of red on the radar. However, it appears that the ingredients for those tornadoes have moved south of the metro area. So this is trending away from a tornado threat now, which, thank goodness. Just be aware that damaging winds that will knock down trees and power lines are still an issue for the rest of this overnight period as we wait for these storms to roll out. A little bit of a good news trend for you, if you will. Floyd County as well as Haralson County, the threat is moving out. Carrollton, you have storms on top of you now, but the rain should move out within the next 30 minutes, and that means that you are done. The south side, Noonan, you're starting to notice that the rain is tapering off. A little bit more shower activity in the next hour, but the bulk of the rain is the bulk of the storm threat is now east of Noonan. It's moving through Peachtree City, Fayetteville, and Brooks. So now the areas I would be watching include Bartow, Cherokee, Paulding, Cobb, South Fulton, East Coweta, and now Fayette County. So I'm not done yet, Jared, but if you are along and west of I-75, I think the storm threat will be wrapping up in the next 30 minutes.
Oh, that's great news to hear. I'm glad that it seems like the West Metro has been hit very hard. I've been bringing up the north side and the west side a lot since I've been on in these 4 hours. It's been an absolute pleasure getting the chance to hang out with you, Christina. Thank you for all of your great information tonight, and I'm sure that if anything pops off, you will continue the coverage along with Steve, Chip Canales, and the gang. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me here on this special edition of my nightcap. Again, next week I've got a bunch of political topics we'll get into, and you'll just have to wait till then. Maybe I'll bring it up on the Von Hessler Doctrine. But in the meantime, if you liked what you heard so far tonight, give me a follow on all my socials. Make sure that you have that WSB radio app downloaded and ready to go. Make sure that phone's charged. Make sure you got that safe area ready. Again, we're not through this yet, but my time tonight, 4 hours of radio. I did it, guys. This has been a long night right here, and I'm going to make sure I get home because my wife is getting nervous now, so I want to make sure that I am there for her. You guys have a great night. Please be safe out there, and I'll see you next time.
Stand Up to Cancer asked leading cancer researchers to speak about why they do their work.
Two words come to mind for me. One is responsibility, the other is purpose.
It's just so inspiring to do research that impacts human lives.
Stand Up to Cancer has been a critical partner in advancing research for cancer.
Cancer research saves lives.
So please help us fight in this battle against cancer.
Be a part of the team that ends cancer at standuptocancer.org.
Imagine finding your dream home and moving in right away. No waiting to sell your old place first. Sounds perfect, right? That's exactly what Orchard's Move First, Sell Later program lets you do. Buy your new home now and sell the old one later. Hey, it's Eric Von Hessler, and here's how it works. Orchard gives you cash so you can buy and move into your new home first on your timeline. No waiting, no showings, no double moves. Then the Orchard experts take it from there. They handle repairs on your old home and make price-boosting upgrades. Once they're done, a local Orchard agent lists and sells your home for top dollar. Orchard's Move First program gives you the freedom to buy and move into your new home first and sell your old home later. Buy before you sell and get top dollar for your home with Orchard. Ready to find out how much your home is worth? Visit orchard.com to get your free home valuation. That's orchard.com.
News, weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
At 2 o'clock, I'm Steve Summers. You are listening to live continuous coverage of severe weather across metro Atlanta. Let's go right now, live to 95.5 WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards with the current situation.
And the current situation, Steve, is we are still monitoring this broken line of thunderstorms as they roll through metro Atlanta. We have a brilliant lightning. We have the rumbles of thunder and the gusty winds. But the good news is that no warnings in effect at this time, with the exception of a flash flood warning that is mainly for Paulding and Bartow counties. However, I'm still monitoring for the potential for damaging winds as well as a quick spin-up tornado. And it seems we may have tornado damage in the Paulding County area near the city of Dallas. So that is something that I'm monitoring here in the early morning hours. Steve?
Yeah, very good, Christina. Quick question before you go. I'm looking at the radar here, obviously, as someone who, has an interest in this, but I'm not trained in it. I'm noticing down by Columbus, there is a fairly long line of extremely intense red lines of thunderstorms. It seems like it's making a trajectory toward Atlanta. Is that what has you concerned?
Actually, it's the opposite. Because these thunderstorms have developed down in the Columbus area, they've robbed a lot of the energy available for us here in metro Atlanta. So if you're wondering where's the severe weather, where are the storms, the south side, and when I say south side, I mean south central Georgia, Columbus over towards the Warner Robins area, that's where the severe thunderstorm potential is now located.
Okay, very good. We'll talk to you back here in just a couple of seconds. As Christina was talking about, there is damage in Paulding County. It's not been a declared tornado. It hasn't been confirmed. But what the State Patrol is telling us is that at some point tonight, probably around the midnight hour, certainly between midnight and 1, tree and power lines were down on a car with people inside. We're working to find out, the conditions of these folks. That happened at Georgia 61 and Wendale Road. There was, according to the Georgia State Patrol, damage to a home on Mount Tabor Church Road at Pickett's Mill. Meantime, Paulding Emergency Management tells me that they've had a dozen calls, probably more now, due to the storm, and they say a lot of that is trees down on homes and cars. You should also know that Highway 61 near Paulding County High School is totally blocked. Now, we've been pretty fortunate here so far. We are into the 4th hour, into the 5th hour, really, of the window of opportunity for the strongest of these storms. We've had probably one tornado. We hope no one's been injured in that. Alabama has had an absolute outbreak. Many tornado warnings. They have visual confirmation of a few. And, of course, they'll determine all of that later. But it seems like as it gets across the line there. Christina, you still there?
Yes, I am here.
I just was wondering. I mean, it's almost like the tale of two states. I mean, we've had some stuff, but Alabama has just been ravaged.
Yes, and Alabama was under a high risk. That's a level 5 out of 5 for severe thunderstorms. And the reason why they were under a high risk, level 5, whereas the western half of metro Atlanta was under a level 4, is due to the better ingredients over the central Alabama and central Mississippi area. Here in our area, it helped that these storms were coming in the middle of the night. When you have the storms come through the middle of the day, they're able to tap into the daytime heating, and so they become more potent. In addition, it appears that the low-level jet, which is a strong wind located about 1,000 feet above our heads, that low-level jet was stronger in Mississippi and Alabama, whereas here it's started to move a little bit further south from the metro region.
Okay, we certainly wish the best for all those folks over there, although there is damage, and we're hoping that there won't be any deaths out of that. Thanks, Christina. It's time now for a traffic update. Let's head over to Chip Canales in the WSB 24-hour traffic center. How are things, Chip?
Well, Steve, things are starting to really pick up here with the weather and the wet roads right now that we're dealing with. We got another red alert. So let's start with the first red alert that we have. This is the newest. It's a red alert in South Fulton. You got a crash I-285 northbound the inner loop before Washington Road, exit 1. It blocks all lanes right now. It's a pretty bad crash right now. You might want to take Highway 29 as an alternate route. The old red alert that's still a red alert right now in Douglas County, crash I-20 westbound near Thornton Road. It blocks all lanes right now. You can still take Thornton Road and hop on to Highway 78 as an alternate route. And then a travel advisory in Cobb County, a crash 75 northbound near Canton Road, exit 267. It's blocking out one left lane now. It was 2 left lanes, but you could still use Highway 41 as an alternate route.
Okay, Chip, thanks very much. Let's press meteorologist Christina Edwards into service one last time in this particular part of the hour. Christina, what's the latest you got?
The latest is that we are still dealing with these strong storms as they roll through the metro region. Some of the stronger storms are located from Canton to Woodstock, Marietta into Mableton, Union City, Riverdale, Fayetteville, Peachtree City, Sonoya, and Brooks. Now, these storms are below severe limits, meaning that the wind gusts have come down. They're about 40 to 50 mile per hour wind gusts within these thunderstorms, but the wind damage threat is coming down. The tornado threat is coming down. This line of storms will be out of the metro area by 6 a.m. They may actually be exiting a little bit earlier than that. However, I would say 6 a.m. is a good time frame for these storms to be out of here east of the Georgia 400 region. So east side, these storms are coming through. They will be exiting by 6 o'clock this morning. Later on today, we'll have a few light rain showers in the afternoon with a high near 70. Steve, these storms are associated with a cold front that will knock our temperatures down to the upper 30s on Monday morning. Yeah, I know. Intense, right?
Well, after we go through all of this with warm weather, the least they could do, Mother Nature, is to keep it warm for us so that we can enjoy the outdoors. But I guess we're in that transitional time, and Atlanta is uniquely placed to receive all kinds of weather. And I don't envy you having to forecast in this geographic region, because there's just all kinds of crazy stuff coming from every direction.
Indeed. I do want to point out that the Paulding County Emergency Management is reporting one injury in the Dallas area, one injury when a tree down on a house. So I'm thankful that we're here, because all it takes is one storm can really impact a community.
Absolutely. All right. Thanks, Christina. See you back here, hopefully not too soon. Keep it here on 95.5 WSB for live real-time storm coverage, and download the WSB radio app in case your power goes out during the rest of this event. I'm Steve Summers, 95.5 WSB.
This is Handle on the Law, marginal legal advice where I tell you you have absolutely no case. If you're injured and need a lawyer, go to